Hello, everyone. We are live.
Hello.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness.
Oh goodness, it's happening. We are,
We're
yes.
so back, Kings.
Welcome back. Notepad, welcome. Good to have you back. So. Where do I put myself? I think I had a different... Wait, I have a different browser. It's more cropped. So we can...
Yeah, I think you have a more cropped one, huh?
I forgot about that. Is it you? No. I'm just gonna edit this. Let me zoom in. I'm giving you... I'm sorry, I'm a bit late today. I'm giving you a screen share in a second. We are on the same page. What is happening? Thank you, Sanat, for pausing the redeems. Yeah, perfect. I can make this bigger. Yeah, okay, there we go. And for you all... Wait, is this the right one? Yes. Okay. We have 2 redeems to go through before we start. Standard, what would you like your compliment to be? And Kotsonia, you are first. What would you like as well? So welcome both here. And also hi Frog. I hope you don't need for 3 hours in the shop. Anything. Okay.
Oh god.
Standard, I look forward to doing another show with you as well. Fun last time. We had a good time.
A really good time.
Yeah. And you have good choice of bringing Immortal. No, it wasn't Immortal. What was it called? Night. God damn. We did it last time, so I must remember.
Nightlife.
Nightlife, exactly. Yeah.
Oh god. Glorious nightlife.
Glorious. Yes. In our headcanon, Nightlife is the only vampire-themed TTRPG that exists within the realm of a World of Darkness. Because clearly they don't have World of Darkness in there. They must have something else, so it's Nightlife.
Where everybody is playing white women.
Okay, good, Sonia, that's fine. So, yeah, welcome in, everyone. I don't know why my chat on the website is working. Is Twitch just shitty this week?
Twitch has been acting up a little bit.
It definitely has been, especially this week. People have been unable to stream. Like, servers keep dropping people, all sorts of things.
Right. Let's just dive right in, I think, right? Do we need to introduce you, Notepad? I think we should, right? So,
oh goodness.
So please pitch yourself to the audience.
Hello, my name is Notepad Anon. I make videos about tabletop games and stream me writing them sometimes.
Yes.
I also talk about games like this, and I just see Ironclaw proudly displaying itself in its full majestic glory.
Yes.
Truly a monument to my sins.
Yeah. I want to say, like, seeing this cover, right? I was so sure someone had traced like a Slayer's cover, the manga.
Yeah.
But they didn't. It's just super close. They clothing and everything. But I didn't find a cover that's like this.
No, it's worse when you realize that. It's worse when you realize this is Furry Slayers fan art, effectively. Yeah. That is official. And this was like, I need to hire someone to make my Furry Slayers fan art for my cover of my role-playing game.
It is best foot forward with the art, because much of it in the first edition at least isn't the best. It's fine, but it's not the best. This is whimsical, and I kind of like this cover.
Second edition is where things start getting weird, and oh goodness.
To point out, we mostly talk about first edition to start, but second edition we have right over here with the, in my opinion, weaker cover.
Yeah, it's when you Google Ironclaw, 9 times out of 10, this will be the cover that shows up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is what you will see. And it's a lot simpler said than done with Ironclaw.
Yeah. So this cover, arguably not very very representative of the actual content of the game. Because what you are really in this game is like, would you like to play like a bunch of peasants who are also rats? You can. There's Ironclaw for you. You can totally make that as a party.
Ironclaw is the most premier game of, oh no, there's a wizard, let me pull out a gun and just pop a wizard. The great equalizer.
This game is not afraid like to kill your character instantly if you just make them wrong or something. Like the amount of damage you can take and the few hit points you have and stuff. It's very interesting. This is like, reminds me a little bit of GURPS. And yeah, sure, we all get the same amount of points, but you can make John office worker man, and I made the cybered up mega cool guy with 16 like passive defense, who can like wade through minigun fire, and meanwhile John can't fix a printer, and they cost the same amount of points. Like it's very weird.
This is why we use GURPS furries, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. And in the game's defense, it's very much easier to make any character in this though. Like GURPS is a nightmare, and this is not. So, scrolling down slightly to the page, like here, what you call it? My words fail me again. To the who made this page. I'm sorry, English isn't my first language. Jason Holmgren is the concept designer, the director, and the game designer, and also the art director for this book. Also production design and logo design. The only thing that he didn't do is executive producer and art, which is interesting because he's actually a cartoonist.
Yes.
I love that.
He's one of the co-founders of Sanguine Productions.
Yes.
People might know who Sanguine Productions are. They are the guys who made Ironclaw.
Yeah.
Fun fact, they were back in 97. They've done other games. However, there's a very large asterisk there. None of their other games have done really well in any capacity.
Yeah.
This definitely feels like this was their tentpole, regardless of what they were going to do otherwise, because I can see the passion in this one.
Oh,
Yes,
damn, sir. Thank you for the rate. I think this page might be slightly not safe for work, but hey, that's not my problem. I know this artist does a lot of smut.
Oh yes,
and
Sanguine hires a lot of people.
Yeah.
You kind of even see in the background there with that alien woman. That is a game called Farflung. That was one of their latest ones, and it's full PBTA quote tasteful erotica end quote. So
I hadn't really
I'll
thought
let
of it.
you determine that. Hello, Raiders, by the way.
Hello,
Welcome
Raiders.
to
Raiders.
Tasteful
I
Erotica.
didn't know if I was just on
Games
my
and
end.
fur.
Yeah. Welcome to us talking about
I guess I
furries.
was on
Like
your
this
end.
slime girl is really like on the cusp of too much. Wait, do we have to
Yes,
bring
it's,
out?
Where are you
Do I have to
stuck?
bring him
I'm
out?
curious.
I'm at
Let
the
But you
me
might not have met this guy yet. Not bad. Where is he?
I want to go to your stream to see what that looks
I
like.
must be at the very tippy top of my stuff. There. Yes.
Oh, goodness, hello.
Sensor
Oh, God,
isn't
druids.
impressed. Yeah.
But yeah, Sanguine doesn't really have much outside of Ironclaw. That is like their big tentpole, their big thing. Recently, though, their other big game that's been doing pretty well is Urban Jungle. Don't know if you've ever heard of Urban Jungle, though. Imagine Ironclaw, but streamline it further.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot more streamlined. It's a lot easier to understand. It's also noir, and you can play scalies in that one.
And finally, well,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you know, it's like, wait, this is 22, also 22, first 24, okay.
In April.
So not a ton of new things happening over at this company. But hey,
Nah.
doing some numbers with Ironclaw, because it is not a bad game. I'll say that right now. It is maybe not the best game ever, but it certainly caters to its audience.
It is a one of a kind.
Yeah.
It is the only game that does what it does.
Indeed. And yeah, so yeah, they have a few other games. It's like even our stuff. Let's click on that real quick. Will it even load? I might have to allow this website to. Oh no. Hello? Well, okay.
Good start, everyone.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna be. That's gonna eventually load, or maybe not. There we are. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have. Oh my God! What is wrong with
It looks like their
internet?
website is also from 1997. So there you go.
It's really hard to understate. Songwin is an old company run by old people who don't want to make anything new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Songwin Games has a full Patreon where they make $2.50 a month, as in $2.50 a month. They are a company that has been doing its best, but I believe they signed a dark deal with a satanic creature sometime in their past, because Ironclaw does well, and its subsequent variants, nothing else does well, and they aren't allowed to have fun. It's a fascinating situation with poor Ironclaw.
Oh man. Yeah, this website is just like really trying hard on its. I don't even know where we hosted. Do we get to understand? G-static. Oh, this. Oh my God. Okay, you aren't paying much for hosting, I guess, which I can understand. Well, okay, they have some other products. Mostly it's this though, and the main guy made a like newspaper comic back in the day. Jason. And I have not found like what that looked like. But whatever, it's really important. So
I have two things to say about the credited people there. Notice that one guy's nickname is the Mad Mormon.
I hadn't seen him. Where's he?
Yeah, David the Mad Mormon Vessel Livre under the playtesters and miscellaneous.
Oh, playtesters.
And then there's a Mark Galen Shapiro, and I misread that as a different Shapiro, which was very amusing in my head.
Imagine. I do enjoy these nicknames, like Gina's brother. Aaron, you don't have a personality, I'm sorry. Gina Buckmeister Brock, David the Mad Mormon, Eric Tragedy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they had fun. This is also the revised edition of the book, we should quickly point out, and I will uncensor it again. They brought one out in 1999 with the original first publishing, but this is a 2001 revised PDF. And they have a quick what's changed section. Yeah, what's in the revision section, but we don't have to go over because basically there's some fixes here and there.
If there is anything about Ironclaw and the way Songwin writes games, is that it's very, I wouldn't call it informal, but they like to talk to you, the reader, a lot. And you're like, here's an entire introduction of not really like what's role-playing games. It's just like, here's what we fixed from the last edition. Here's everything there.
Yes. Like, I appreciate the brevity, to be honest. Also, I want to say, Tracy Butler, good job with that art. I like that they credit everybody. Good job.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's not that common. But again, this is a furry community. These people are way more, well, they're better about crediting, basically.
Look at all the
Usually.
artwork Jason did, though.
Yeah. Wait, Jason Holmgren. Oh, wait, he did do art. He doesn't.
Yeah, he's right there below Leah Holler.
Oh, he's the second. He didn't give himself top billing. Good. I mean,
Nope.
I guess he has top billing like 6 times, so it's fine.
Yeah, top billing and everything else except art happened to be.
Right, page 3, you say. So wait, which one are you then? Oh, okay. Not bad.
He has a very distinctive style. It's like
Yeah.
he likes his cartoon.
Like, I want to quickly find out who does all the full covers, full page ones. So that's page 6. Because a lot of furries get killed, and whoever does that art, that's very... John Kauf. I thought there would be more pages by this guy, because it looks very similar to the other comics in here.
If I give Ironclaw 1E anything, is that all the art at least looks consistent.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, the art, totally the best part of this, in my opinion. That some of it is good, some of it is interesting, and none of it is just like generic. Because they had to make their own stuff. Like, legitimately, sometimes in old books you see, oh, that art I've seen in another book before, because they just bought it as well. And didn't care because it's just a man in a trench coat or something, and can't do that for this book because humans don't exist. So yeah, might as well.
It is really interesting coming from Ironclaw 2nd edition to 1st edition, because 2nd edition has the entire spectrum of artwork.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes the different art pieces of the same character that are completely different in thematically in look on the same page.
Yeah, 1st edition they did do quite well with the theming, I think, for that. Yeah. So yeah, book starts with what's the role-playing game page as you need, YF rules page, explaining actually pretty well why what the rules are for. And then again the revision stuff, and then overview. And this is very engineer written, because every section of this book will give you an overview or an abbreviated version of what's coming. I don't mind it, but yeah, just so you know. It's also pretty well laid out, all things considered, in terms of what comes when, in my opinion at least.
The only thing with layout that's odd is like when you're going down lower, it's like, okay, what did you calculate everything beforehand? But things might have changed from point A to point B, so it's like, okay, we got to go back, double check something.
Yeah. No, the character creation is the jumps around a bit, yes, because they start. Okay, we are gonna count like how many furries straight up get killed in these comics. So this is 1.
First, this game doesn't fuck around with furries. This isn't like, hey, let's all go on a magic adventure. No, that man is stabbed in the back. He is bleeding to death.
He is dead. Yeah.
This is the first moment where I'm like, holy crap! What kind of game are we in for? Because I did not expect it. Because the cover does not prepare you.
You start with the cover. It's like, oh boy, everything's happy, and then stab.
It's also.
I wasn't expecting.
Yes, also like she's some sort of escaped person, whatever, and she's now gonna have to fight this guy as well. So there's another implied death or whatever, enslavement. Like dark themes are happening immediately.
Very quickly. I wasn't expecting a medieval Fritz the Cat.
Yeah. Like,
honest to God, medieval Fritz the cat is probably the most accurate understanding of Ironclaw.
The comic page setup ends on the words, "I shall strip your hide from your bones while you pray for death." Like,
like what? Well, that escalated quickly.
And yeah, you're just kind of sitting there. You're like, "What the like?" Oh, okay. It sets a tone. It sets 2 tones very early.
Unexpected tone. Oh my god. So what do we do to make a character? We choose a race. Works as you would expect. There's a lot of races in here, but they're all furries. You'd expect that of course, but there's no scalies in here. Can't play a scaly.
Nope.
At least, I mean, you could make one, I suppose, but they didn't do it at all. There's also a single piece of art for the scaly character in this book, as far as I can tell. Except of their meat producing like cattle that they have on the island. And how it works, these races might have gifts and flaws, and you just note them down. Like as a wolf, Domna, I don't know how to say that name, has a gift of claws, teeth, and howl. There are no gifts and flaws associated with being a mercenary. I picked a career as well, so write the name of your race in the bank of a character sheet, do the same with your career. A career is well, it's something you are trained in. It essentially provides a bonus to any role that it says it provides a bonus to.
Yeah, it's kind of like just a bundle of skills more than anything.
Yeah. Essentially,
that isn't actually skills.
You have skills, right? You have skills, but if the profession you have lists the skill, you can add your profession die to it. Isn't that how it works?
Yes, it's weird because they split the idea of like, here's your profession. This is a profession die. Here's a skill die. These are different, though they are rolled together.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's okay. Like, that's a little odd, but let's nod and shake our head.
Let's talk about dice mechanics in like a minute, because there's a lot there.
There's
and
a lot.
It's kind of unexpectedly weird. Right. To finish learning. Oh, shit. Okay. Sorry, I forgot to post that we have started, so I'm posting that shit on the Twitter real quick. Ding ding bing.
Can the race be any animal? No, they have like a set number of animals that are available, but there's a lot of them.
There is a little section in it at the end of the races where it says, "Want to make another one?" Like for some reason you didn't find every animal here. You can like just pick from.
Yeah,
the
it's real
stuff.
easy to make a race though.
Yeah, it's dead easy. So you start then. Therefore, gifts and flaws that come from the race. Then we get 20 character development points, simply called points. Thanks. Just give you points next time. Like the number of points you spend on gifts, and that the number of points you get from your flaws. So in this point, we do this only for the race rolls, but in the next one, we buy more gifts, and we can take more flaws, up to 10 points of gifts and 10 points of flaws. To like this, another example, our wolf guy takes ambidextrous, belongings, keen ears, and luck. And also takes stuff where I'm like, those shouldn't really be negatives. Like those sound like negatives. Overconfident, wrathful. And he also takes a foe for 4 points. This brings me to one of those things where this is very GURPS brand here in that moment, because GURPS is like, well, it is technically a negative that you have this foe, ergo you get points, but also a lot of the game is gonna now involve your foe and be about your character for that reason. So is it really a negative in terms of storytelling? But this game doesn't really care, because like you can say overconfident, for example. That's a flaw that should give you points, because you might be forced to act in a stupid manner with your character.
The fact that there's 2 overconfident skills, because there's another one that isn't quite overconfident, which is different, but the same. There's a lot of that. It feels like there are some things that are like, we split these up for the purpose of splitting them up rather than like a good reason.
Yeah, it feels slightly arbitrary what's there and what isn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on here.
Like, also these are listed uncommon, strong, and common, strong. Like uncommon, it comes up rarely, and strong, it's a strong flaw, basically. It's like who cares? We're gonna see that in detail. We're gonna make characters in this, and then after you did that, you note down how many points you have left. You should have at like something between 10 and 20 points left, or potentially less if you didn't pick any flaws. The game wants you to pick flaws though, because you need those points later.
Oh yeah.
And then you put stuff into your attributes, which are body, speed, mind, will, your race, and your career. One of the few games that actually gives your race like a die. And you have a D12, D10, D8, D8, D6, and D4 in this version of the game to spread out. And how this then works is if you, let's say, have a skill based on speed, and you have another D8 and you would roll both of them for skill check. And that is the basic thing. How we actually do skill resolution, we're going to get to later because that's complicated. But let it be known that you can eventually have like 4 dice plus your attributes, plus potentially your career might count in stuff that also counts your attributes, other attributes. So you might roll 6, 7 dice if you're really high level in something.
Yeah, probably first created, you can probably get about 5 dice.
Yeah.
But they're going to be like D4.
It actually depends. Like you can put all your points into one skill with the gift thing, Prodigy, I think. And you have 2d12 from skill.
Oh, the weird ass mastery system. I mentally corrected that in my head. I was like, yeah, this is a weird. Yeah, when I first read that, I'm like, oh, all right, that's different. Okie dokie. But yeah, like they give you a lot of this information right off the bat. Be like, here's all you need to actually play the game, and then it's like the next. Probably 100 pages are about like let's actually flesh out every piece of detail about this.
I don't mind the quick overview, to be honest. Like it's
I like it.
It's good. It gives you the basics you need, and you could make a character pretty quickly off of this if it's a basic one. But if you want to get in the weeds, you have to do a lot more. And here we see kind of like how it works, because you then like you put your rest of your points into your skills. Each point you put into one costs 1 point, so let's say you have 20 points left after you pick your race and your flaws and shit. And you could have Brawling, Psychology, Resolve, and Shadowing at 5 each and not have anything else. Which would not be a good character, but just, like in this case, we have like, what is this, 6, 8, 11, 13, 14, yes, 19 points spent here. And how it works is each level gives you a die. So it counts from a D4 to a D12, and then if you have more than 5 ranks, it gives you a D12 and a D4. So you will eventually just have a bunch of D12s and then one smaller dice, more or less. And also, again, let's say we have sword for a D12, we roll our speed of D8 to attack with that. So we would at base roll D12 plus the D8. And also we have career mercenary, so arguably you roll that as well, I think. Right? Because mercenary includes like weapon, probably. Weapon of choice or something.
Yeah, there's again you can optimize a character in this pretty. If you want to make I want to make a character who does this, you can really optimize into it.
Yeah, and that's to a point where this is, I think, the worst part of the game design here, very easily explained, is so if I have one guy at my table who's just like, I put every point I get into sword, and every other point I get into dodge or block or whatever, and they just become murder man, murder dog. I don't know.
Murder dog.
And while another player's like, well, I'm gonna spread out my points and have like a D10 here and a D8 here. Then sure, that player is useful in everyday situation. But if a fight happens and the DM is like, well, I have to challenge Murder Dog, I'm gonna put like some guys here that have similar stats. Then that player who put like his points everywhere and didn't specialize, that player is very boned.
Oh yeah,
like,
no, it's It was funny reading this though, like when I was going through like the GM section and stuff. I was thinking about it. I'm less like you almost have to apply the Game of Thrones RPG logic to it, being like you can easily break that game with a combat monster, but the second you have a combat monster, you immediately shift it to a bunch of non-combat things. You're like, sorry, kiddo, you gotta lie. I'm like, I like swords. Uh-oh.
It's true. It's true. I just think the problem is always with combat that.
Oh yeah.
Well, if it happens, how do you balance that then? I mean, you can like then our sword dog just fights the big bad, while our jester character who can do a bit of everything, like distracts some other normal mooks from the sidelines, whatever. But it's a challenge, and it's kind of. I think at the very least one defensive skill has to be pretty constantly leveled up.
Yeah, dodge is. See, the thing they have the encumbrance thing with dodge, don't they?
Yeah.
Dodge is probably your most reliable.
It is.
But you can, if you want to be big, huge, mixed, strong asshole, you can pump like soak up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
When we get to combat, soak will make a little bit more sense. Like you effectively have the avoid damage, tank that shit immediately, or attempt to like block or parry it. There's really, you have to go down one path or the other. Like going down all, like dabbling in all is. Everyone's going to take a combat skill. Everyone's going to have a defense skill, no matter what you do.
Yep, they're going to have to. And then if you put a point in a skill, you give a favored use, which is like, when I'm my best at that skill, it gives you a little bonus. Very simple. And favorite weapon is kind of the same thing, I guess. Is it a specific weapon? No, it's not.
That's like one of the stranger things about that, because if you look at some of like the sample characters, they put like, favored use as like, here's my sword. My favored use is attacking from the shadows. I'm like, wait, what? And then you're like, this is my favorite sword. Because I have my favorite sword. I'm like, can we anything else? No? Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. And then you have a lot of like math to do about your weight. This was the weirdest part for me, But this is important because you might be able to fly in this game. So I guess it's only important then.
It's when you do like lifting and stuff, it's important too, because like I'm playing Biff Mix Strong Huge, the body D12 Superman who's strong in all these things. When you are a giant, like 8-foot tall bear man, grabbing the tiny little rabbit man and just using him as an improvised throwing weapon is a valid tactic.
True.
Oh, I love it.
It's just like, it's funny that they are somehow like, yeah, well, you can play a bear in this, but really you cap out at 115 kilograms, so 230 pounds or whatever. I don't know. I think I've seen bigger humans than that. How small are these bears?
You can also play a body 1 bear and be 25. Be the tiniest bear ever.
Yeah. This is why this reminds me so much of Robin Hood, because the Disney movie, the old one that spawned a million furries, because in that, like, you just had these character designs that weren't necessarily like consistent with the animal they were supposed to be, but they just looked interesting. Anyway, you do the same with your speed, because you can math out your paces. This matters if you want to play it on like hex combat or grid combat. I don't really think it matters too much otherwise, except to ask how quickly can you run. And then that's very deterministic. So like if you have lower speed, you're just not gonna get away. The other guy is encumbered or something.
This is the part of the book that made me realize, this person read After the Bomb repeatedly, said, I can write it better, because of how insistent they are at putting like KPH right there. so that you know, oh, okay, the average speed of a speed level of 7 bear who weighs X number of pounds. Like the level of simulation feels symbiote brained at this point.
At the same time, yeah and no, because Symbieta writes all this down so you can be like, I run 600 kph.
Yep.
Because our character is exploited to fuck, and this is Rifts, welcome.
Mhm,
This
mhm.
person is very much like, no, the quickest you can be is 32 kph.
Yes. I'm the grounded one. Yeah.
Which is why, yeah, I mean, After the Bomb is so fun.
It is.
It's a dumb game, but it's so fun. You have your lift encumbrance. This actually, encumbrance in this game matters more than most, because actually the rules say you can have as much starting equipment as you can carry. Which is one of the best rules ever, I think.
Yeah, no, being buff is a noted advantage.
Yeah. Like I love the idea so much of this. Okay. This would have been me at like age 16 if I found this book. I'd be like, okay, so what's the most expensive item I can have unlimited of to start, and what's the lightest, most expensive one? So I could just turn around and sell like 500 water skins or whatever and make bank and get plate mail. As you can see, like in many cases, the list like, oh, if you are weak, like you get less and blah blah blah. It's like you have to refer to these tables. To be fair, probably only once, because these things don't really change that much. And if they do later, it's always by a step of a die size, so you kind of know. Defenses here, yeah. Yeah. If you try to dodge and you carry your stuff, it's harder. And your dodge die size goes down.
Yeah, it's effectively how much stuff you have
Yeah.
on you lowers the maximum dodge die. So you might have a dodge die of D12, but because you're carrying too much, you only will be rolling a D4 for it.
Mhm.
But you still have to buy the dodge skill. Remember that.
Yeah, I think if you can default to just your speed, but then good luck doing anything. You're just gonna get stabbed then. Here we have the character sheet. I didn't find this character sheet, like the first edition one, anywhere.
No, I actually had to end up going to a Fur Affinity to actually get a character sheet.
Like second edition, that's here, one page, very concise. It's funny how many careers they apparently think you can eventually have, because that's the many bonuses potentially to all of this. But yeah, it all fits pretty well. First edition, kind of the same thing, except they have a freeform skill list, which we'll get to.
Yeah, there's a lot. The thing with this shift from 1E to 2E, we were kind of talking about this earlier. There is a lot of streamlining to second edition, an absurd amount of streamlining.
And also, Ellen, welcome in. Yes, it is, but it's not traced. We tried to find the cover. It's not traced. It's just completely that energy.
It is not Lena Inverse. It's Mavra, obviously. Don't you know? It's Mavra, a completely original character, inspired by no other source.
Yeah.
My OC, my donut stealing.
Someone said I need them to rephrase now. Yes, exactly. That's how it goes a lot of the time. And then we have a bunch of sample characters. And I did not math out if any of these are actually made with 20 points. But seeing how none of them are totally OP, I can believe it. And these guys make another appearance later in second edition.
With hi Anton.
Yeah, hi Anton.
Except Mei Ling. Mei Ling doesn't, but she's from Jade Claw, I believe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Jade Claw, the game.
The much maligned version.
That's the Far East version. This is very much medieval fantasy game, so she is a bit out of place. This is brother Friar Tuck, exactly.
One for one.
Badger Friar Tuck. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, you will.
He
we all
badgers
love-
you to be converted.
This guy is probably also in Jade Claw.
Yeah.
It's yeah, no, some of them it is interesting seeing like the artwork to here in second edition, how different they look. But yeah,
Yeah.
most of these characters are pretty normal. And then we have let's bring up Maverick.
Mensa can get it, thanks, Al. Vegan is just your run-of-the-mill barbarian who fights with his claws and teeth.
vegan
Yeah.
hit, vegan kill.
Vegan really hates vegans.
Yeah, it's the fact that he is actually extremely dangerous does make
Yeah.
it far funny. Just
Yes,
because his natural
like
weapons are
where-
broken shit.
Yeah, natural weapons are pretty good in this. Yes, you don't need a sword, but I mean, there's reasons to have them, but you can get by. Just looking at how much does he actually? Because he has like ratio velocity. How does his body speed when? Yeah, because he has a D12 in Wolf, he gets D12 to attack with his natural weapons.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
broke ass thing with it, because if you take brawling as well, which is a completely like a combat skill, you get to add it to it as well. So you could be rolling 3 2-hit die right off the bat.
So he has, let's see, he has a D8 in brawling, he has a D12 in wolf, and he has a D8 in speed. So 2 D8s and a D12 to attack. Not bad for starting character in this. Is Skyclad being the yeah, totally. And we have Anushka, who is a bat, I think. Is she a bat? Some sort of bat. Who can fly and stuff. Flight at night. You can fly better at night. I guess that makes sense for a bat, though. And here's Mavra, not Lena. Mavra.
We love Mavra.
Yeah.
And it is painful how obvious Mavra is.
Yeah. She even has that
And-
sucking sword that Lena never uses.
The thing is, this is one of those weird stories. Apparently, Mavra is the main guy at Songwin Games character. That is his.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why, if you look at the front cover of both books, Mavra is there.
Yeah.
Mavra is the arguably poster child of the game. And is probably the
Yeah.
worst explanation of what Ironclaw does. Very funny.
I think probably all of these characters are probably like beta tester characters. I would assume they just put them in.
Yes, that probably throughout like these have all been characters made, but like she is very much like we have to put her in everything. She is our character.
Yeah. And like you can see with since she's a wizard, which elemental is D12, thaumaturge D4. So she gets to cast spells that are like around here, which works in a weird way. We'll get to eventually.
Yeah.
Mavra
Magic
is
is
the
weird.
tracer of this game. Oh no. And here's Master.
Mavra's the tracer of this game. Yes,
Yeah.
you're seeing it. Like she's
Yeah.
like the fact that she keeps popping up is something interesting. Like
And here's Master Splinter, Norway Taiko. Even has the fucking staff with the like crooks.
Yep.
And Deidre, who's just an archer. I like her. And now we get to the many races. If you want to play a human, you must play an ape in this.
well, this is actually a very interesting philosophical question for everyone here, including in chat. Do you consider apes and monkeys furries?
Oh, it is a very uncommon furry archetype, but it's not unknown. So I would say yes.
Yeah, I would definitely say yes.
We had a very large debate about it the other night, and it was because you don't think about it being like, oh yeah, furries. You're like, it's a wolf guy, it's a cat person, but then it's like
Yeah.
ape, and you're like, what defines a man?
Yeah, well, we know a gorilla furry, so they exist. They exist. It's not very common.
Yeah, But yeah, you can play a full-on ape in this, and
Yeah.
apes aren't bad, generally
Oh,
speaking.
apes ain't
for like
bad.
this.
Because you have an extra like appendage with your prehensile feet, kinda. Like you can stand on one foot and I don't know, cook a steak with your other. And they get a bit of strength, no flaws. They have some racial skills. This is like again, if you put ape to D12, then on acrobatics, brawling, climbing, and wrestling, just add that D12 to whenever you have to roll those. And this is pretty common shit, so it's not bad. No racial weapons though.
Going monkey mode is iPhone is a very valid tactic
Yes.
in this game.
And you also like have the racial sense tests, like the ones which you can put your racial die into to like use perception.
Yep.
And then habitat, you might get a bonus for your home habitat sometimes if you're survivaling or whatever. And then we have, this is my opinion, might be the worst art in this, but I think mainly because it's like the axe.
The armadillo.
The axe is just kind of garbage. I'm sorry. Armadillo gets a D6 of armor, which is cracked.
Also, armadillo is like one of the most expensive races too.
Yeah,
like,
because of the armor.
Point cost wise.
Because this is one of the few, like, if you want to play a defensive character in this, having the D6 natural armor is so good. It's really good. So fucking good. Because there isn't that many ways to get soak dice. But yeah, he gets it. She probably, I mean, she gets it too, but she probably doesn't get as many soak dice. So it's not that big. And we have, this is also the closest to a scaly you can play in this.
I have a comment about that art specifically,
yeah.
which hit me because I'm having so many spoony moments watching this again. It makes me think that somebody looked at Sergio Aragones's art from Mad Magazine, looked at one of his armadillos, then tried to imitate it from memory.
Oh, that's possible.
That's probably why it looks so weird.
Yeah, because he never draws them in armor.
No, he never does. They're like, how would this work?
That is an armadillo with armor, wearing armor, no less. Like this is, we are multi-layering, baby.
Then we have wolverines and bats and bears and boars and oh my god, there's so many pages of this. Oh wait, there's more monkeys, right? Yeah, monkey actually is also one. Like
they distinguish between great apes and monkeys.
I don't know a monkey furry. I know an ape furry. Ermites, ferrets, minks, and weasels. Otters. Porcupines. Rabbits. Raccoons. Rhinoceros. Isn't it rhinoceri? I don't know.
There are quite a few different possibilities in this.
Shrews who get poison. And then skunks who get spray, of course. And squirrels. And wolves. And that's it. And then we have your jobs, the job stuff. And this is also one of those pages where you find out that this is just meant to be a medieval simulator with animals. Because the very first one you can pick is an ascetic. Who has to pick
it's one of those weird places where reading the lore, you're like, it's like early Renaissance?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yep.
Because they'll just bring out a gun?
We can totally
because it's just like, yes, it's medieval time. And then it's just being like, by the way.
We can totally play a dragoon in this, which is that's a guy with a gun. Well, guns are fucking deadly in this. They do so much damage.
Admittedly, playing a dragoon would be you riding effectively a raptor around with a gun in your hand, which is a pretty metal sight in any.
Let's
not kid ourselves here.
That's straight out of Cinnabar or something. Oh god, I mentioned that shit. Then cleric is a wizardly career. Freya, so importantly, like the ascetic is just a dude who's poor and preaches God. If you want to cast spells, you have to be a cleric. Freya, blah, blah, blah. There's many here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but it all boils down to, let's look at the smuggler. You get your, since you put a dice in it, you would get that dice to camouflage, fast talk, haggling, and streetwise, and so on. And there's like the only ones that break the format are the magic couriers. Like a fighting courier like Dragoon gets gun, resolve, sword, and trade gunsmith. So nothing except fighting, which is interesting. But you're also not supposed to sometimes take more than one of these careers, which is totally valid. There's an advantage for that we'll get to soon. And then eventually, weirdly, in the middle of this, there's making a new career, and then they talk about magic careers. And these essentially give you some skills, and they give you a spell list. Okay. And the spell lists remind me very much of one Roll Master. But we'll look at those much later, if at all. But they include like, move Earth. Move a bit of Earth, maybe. Roll some dice.
It's very Rollmaster brained because, I mean, we're talking about people who were clearly engineers and like the first generation of online furries, so a lot of them played Rollmaster way back in the day.
Furries to this day are very engineer heavy. So maybe that's why this also is successful, because it's written for their own people.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I remember Wizards in Rollmaster. I played that game once, being like, wow, what spells do I get? I can heat a small portion of water 30 degrees. Wow. It costs me a tenth of my magic points to do so. Wow.
Yeah. First edition of Palladium had a lot of spells like that too. Palladium Fantasy.
I will never forget them. I don't remember what they're called in English because we had the German Rollmaster book. But I remember there being two separate skills for taking a nap. One is, one is dozing and one is napping, I think. Version? No, I'm very sure because I can't speak Spanish. I get the joke. And then one of the players took both of them. And leveled them as much as possible.
I'm nap maxing. You don't understand.
Nap maxing, yes.
He leveled them up every time he could. This was great. And he also had like a narcolepsy flaw, so once he was asleep, he would stay asleep.
I'm power napping, you don't understand.
It might have been a low-key rebellion against playing Rollmaster, I think.
I probably.
You don't understand, GM. I have to.
I must.
Yes, the special trade.
Yes.
Maybe it was fantasy fulfillment as well, like not getting enough sleep, so you just play a character who sleeps all the time.
Real. Oh, God. Yeah, the special traits are interesting. You have to take a gift to give you an extra trait, which you can then distribute any of your other trait die to one of these. And some of them are like charisma, dexterity, or really hyper-specific things like second sight.
It's interesting that they even make a dexterity thing at all.
Because they also have quickness. Quickness is weird, but then I realized what quickness was, which was you just get a flat bonus to your dodge skill. I'm like, you could just put a D10 in quickness and just get D12, D10 dodge. Oh, I see.
And then buy the skill,
let me just be freaking Neo, okay?
It's also for chase tests, so you can just say, I don't want to deal with this and run away with quickness. Oh my god.
I'd sprint away and go, see you later.
Oh, that's so funny.
Being phlegmatic is a passion in this game.
And so is cooler.
Yeah.
Choleric, but cooler.
Yeah. I don't like this was one of the weirder pages or double pages in this.
Yes, incorporating aspects of medieval interpretations of alchemy into this. What? In my
Yeah.
furry role-playing game? What's going on?
But
After working at a furry convention more than once, I can attest to this. That is a lot more common than you think.
Oh,
like,
wow.
That is furry. This era of like romance and all those like the humors and stuff, they love that
Mhm.
shit.
Huh.
And I'm like, huh, that's very strange, but okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
Whatever.
yeah, this is kind of a like. Okay, I will say, like in a building block kind of sense, I like this system though. Because yeah, sure, anybody can roll on like their oratory skill or whatever the fuck. But if you just are charismatic, you just get a bonus to it. But not everyone just is charismatic. And one of my real pet peeves and tricks as well is that every system uses charisma for stats. Because we can't call it chameleonness. Charisma.
That's why I petition like chutzpah is like
Yeah.
the superior word to use.
Definitely. But then we can all agree some people also don't have chutzpah. So yeah, making it like a optional is honestly pretty good. Also, manual dexterity being like especially high is also like because I don't need this if I'm not gonna pick locks.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not a thief, I don't need this dexterity thing. So why should everybody have it? Everybody needs speed to run around and dodge shit. And everybody needs to be very manual dexterous in this world. So it makes sense.
Except if you have a gun, then take dexterity.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
shooting people with a gun better.
Yeah, definitely.
The ultimate
definitely.
counter.
It's also like generally for ranged attacks, you also want this. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, it's
Nice
some of them
one.
actually like I do like some of the more open interpretation ones, like passions and stuff. Like, okay, you got some, you could make these go different directions. And you're like, I have hope. And you're like, okay, here's things that you can apply hope for. And like, all right, I'm in. I'm
Yep.
I'm
And
about it.
yeah, panache is also good. I agree.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Oh yeah, panache is what 7 C's did.
Yep. Second sight toughness.
I'm having flashbacks to swashbucklers and Pathfinder Second Edition. Why do you haunt me this way?
Oh,
yeah.
You haunt
swashbucklers. Oh.
What was that about romance? There is actually a flaw you can take called romance, and that you are in a heated romance with someone who may not be in a heated romance with you.
Yeah.
And if you have that flaw, you can take the passion of love, where you do things to get closer to your true love. Whether or not they want you to be closer to you is a completely different statement.
This is a Pepe the Skunk situation, maybe.
Yeah, totally Pepper the Pew. Yeah.
So
what happened to that? What happened to that? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a boar. I was just like, is this Minotaur like really mutated? No, it's a boar.
It's a boar. No. If you put horns on it, would be a small Minotaur, though.
Yeah, it would be.
Body 3. Then we explain all. Then we explain all the skills. There's a lot of them. This is one of the biggest areas where they just shrink the list way the fuck down in second edition and that's for the best.
Oh, yeah,
because
it really
there's
is.
still a lot of skills, but it's not like GER. You don't end up getting like fishing. You don't end up with like
boating. Like okay, boating. Like you can always make the thing is you can always make an argument for a skill being included because it might come up. But then you can have just the freeform skill of like, ooh, this is my job, which you already have because you have job dice. So what's the point? Like contortionist, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, sure, that might come up if I'm trying to squeeze through some metal bars or something, but probably not really in other situations except like an RP moment where I'm like performing it. Yeah, several pages of skills. I'm not gonna go over all of them because holy crap.
Make sure you see the throw mace skill, the very specific throw
Oh yeah,
mace.
right. They have the thrown skill. Oh, that's so
yeah,
stupid.
the four thrown
No,
skills.
it's 5.
4, 5. Every weapon has different throw.
You can throw barbed spines if you have porcupine. So it's 6 skills. So if you want to be a
I have to make sure that every single one of my throw skills is maxed out.
Oh my god. This is very regressive, the skill list.
Yeah. This is like you can immediately just take a red marker to this and cross out half of them. And lose nothing.
There's a part of me that thinks sitting there, in the dark of the night, you're like, did someone actually take the throw sword skill? Like, how many people did that? How many people took throw mace? How many people took torture? Like, have no fear, I have to make let me just torture, let me just bump up my torture skill real fast. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. The only argument, thrown spines, because those at least regrow, not if only one of them. Or maybe spear, because you can also have a bunch of thrown spears. But all the rest of them is essentially, now I have no weapon. Great. Okay, axes. There's some hand axes. But nah, come on. Let's make a throw skill. Who cares?
Flail.
Yeah, throw flail is especially bad because those things don't fly good.
No.
That's why you need a skill for it, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You're right.
Remember us talking about what, like sense time and other things?
Yeah,
well, of course, they have weather sense here.
Yeah. Like, just looking at the random page, you can always identify like at least 5 things that will never come up. Like psychology, research, sixth sense is also funny because I can always roll on that, can't I? Like, can I just
there's
roll
a couple skills that are like just universal. Like, we're gonna use these every game. Someone should take even things like dodge. Like, you always should take dodge.
Have you seen the video where the guy asks if he can use perception for everything? Like, can I use perception to notice that I'm being attacked and defend myself? No, but you perceive that you're being stabbed and you perceive that you die. That's sixth sense. Because I would have been that person at the table who was like, can I roll sixth sense to be warned about this?
See, you have to wonder, is there, as a GM, should you be like, I'm going to look for every opportunity to force you to roll obscure skills?
Yeah. Like on this page, like, okay, writing is an interesting one because can I just write other player characters?
Oh, if your body difference is significant enough, I don't see why not.
Yeah. Like, what's that? Wait, can we play a horse? I'm sure we can play a horse, right? Yeah.
Horse is one of them, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, we have a horse character, you're right. Of course we can play a horse. What am I saying? Horse is one of the most popular ones.
And also, when seeing Sixth Sense, I was just like, what about the M. Night Shyamalan TTRPG where all the skills are just named after his movies?
Oh, no, but M. Night was inspired by this. No, really. And then they have their FAQ section, which is, I enjoy these sections in this book. I've not seen it done like this before, but they answer the most common questions. Which in this day and age you wouldn't really do because you can just go in and edit text easily. But I assume they just wrote this for the second edition of this book after the first edition had these questions asked them constantly. So they didn't change the text of their skill section, but they put the questions in after, which is very interesting. Yeah. And then here, okay, no one dies in this comic. However,
someone might be dying.
Yeah, no one. Someone is being also someone is probably taking mental damage from his love, like double crossing him. Also, where did those 3 guys hide? Are they in the pool? Or are they behind it?
In the shadows.
I guess they are
being ominous.
I guess they are here behind the big spring, whatever this is. Also very tastefully not showing the naked furry lady on the stone. Good job. No wait, they are inside because you don't see the statue. Yeah, they were all waiting under the water. That's some dedication.
Wow. I like how they're kind of dressed almost like from 3 different eras too.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
This guy's real angry because he had to be in the pond water with his like fancy clothes.
He looks
Know
like
how
a
much
refugee from the
stuff.
Victoriana game.
Yeah. Oh, imagine! Oh God, imagine someone just putting all these comics into Victoriana and otherwise leaving the book identical and putting that PDF out there. It would improve the game, in my opinion.
It would, yes.
Then we have gifts, which is basically the advantages. Like you get bonuses for this. You get might be ambidextrous. You might have extra 8 points. You might have keen ears and so on and so forth. And some of this is stuff you might also get from your race. Like keen ears, I think, is something the races, or keen eyes and nose. The races get that a lot. And there's also prodigy, which is just like pay 6 to 10 points and have a skill that high. So start with 2 dice in a skill. You cannot take it once and it's very expensive. But it's no less expensive than buying the skill normally, except you buy it higher.
Yeah, it's a weird thing with how skills work. And the only way Prodigy makes sense is that if you know skills, effectively what it means is that if you have a second die, if you ever tie with someone, you automatically win it.
Yep.
So if we're both basic and we tie, no one wins. But if I'm an expert, you're basic, I would win.
Exactly.
No matter what.
Okay,
you could still lose the fight though.
Yeah. Let's go over this stuff real quick. Like, there's edges and flaws as you would expect. Like a lot of it is.
Yeah, it's
you
weird, like odd things.
Spray.
You can't automatically take like a bunch of these different skills and problems. Like, oh, I have hooves, I have horns, or anything. You can't take those normally.
Nope.
I would say, hey, do you want to be a genetic freak of nature?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. They cost double the amount, though.
No, I would say, is this after the bomb? If so, you can just pick whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's are you a squirrel with antlers? Your dad was a freak.
Can we crossbreed finally? Because that's what we really want.
We really want the chimeric manticore-like monsters here.
But yeah, it's a bunch of advantages you can take. They work about as you would expect. Like, curiously, usually not even that impactful for their cost, I find. Some are
probably
good, some not.
Probably like one of the more expensive ones, which I thought was interesting, was wealth. Wealth is real expensive. It's 5 points.
Wealth is super expensive, but how much do you get? Because like having
the thing is, you start with as many expensive items as your largest career die.
That's actually
so
pretty
you
good.
Can start with 12 expensive items if you want.
So we'll get to that soon, but that is actually very impactful then. Okay, wait.
Or if you are unlucky and you only have 4, it's not. It's really bad, actually. It's really interesting because that's a thing you'll notice in 1E is thing from here will impact this thing over here, but in a completely different way than you would expect sometimes.
I must go over this art because this giraffe king, whatever, or maybe Pope. That's hooves.
Wish you looked as good as him.
Yeah, he has hooves. He doesn't have hands. Oh my god. Is it like a birth defect or something? Shouldn't they all have hands?
If you look too hard at it, you begin realizing that sometimes they do and don't.
Yeah.
If you don't think about it, it gets easier.
Yeah. It looks like My Little Pony where it just sticks to the hoof.
He solved the tie question. Look where his neck wrap is.
Yeah. Also, like, this guy has a real, like, you don't want to go into combat as the giraffe, because if you aren't that, like, super tall comparatively, then you just get your neck, you get mega decapitated. It's not a good time. But yeah, flaws, work about the same. A lot of it is stuff where again I'm like, is this really a flaw that should give you points? Like again, foe and stuff like that. Like that's you just get foes when you play the game, right? If you are like adventuring and shit. So it's kind of 3 points to have a foe. And that's one of the problems I have with many of these things. Like sure, one arm, that's a real issue. They won't get that back in this game. There's no really a way to do so. But some other things are arguably not that bad. I think agnostic is the flaw. Default position is to believe in God, I guess.
Oh, that's quite a twist for a furry game.
Yeah.
See, I realize in this one they did not have horse Jesus. They did not mention horse Jesus in this game.
Oh, you hopefully get to horse Jesus. Oh God.
Just get him a glass of water. That'll be fine.
Yeah. Cartoon hands. Like the more you look at the art, the more concerning it gets because it's like, are they cartoon animals or are they realistic animals? But I guess
it kind of depends on the it literally depends on the image sometimes.
I suppose not even real furries like have an answer to that.
No. Well, it also plays into the thing of then it can be whatever I want whenever I want it, which I get it. You want the fantasy of having giraffe hooves and being clumsy sometimes, but then you also want the fantasy of wielding your scepter whenever you want.
Yeah. And then you have stuff like a greedy, which everyone of a certain like party, you all know the guy would take, is to be able to say, "No, I would want money though for doing this," and it's not there's no mechanical things mentioned at all. You're just susceptible to bribes. It's not a flaw. That's a character trait game. I'm sorry. Like, if the DM is like, but wouldn't you be greedy in this situation to your face, then either you have missed the point of roleplay because you aren't playing your character, or you just, I don't know, you're min-maxing too hard, something. Like, the same kind of, lustful, same thing.
It's very GURPS-brained. Like, your
is.
GURPS observation is very on point, because a lot of this is just that. As lustful is one that's also in GURPS, except it's lascivious.
Yeah. Like overconfident also. So
I think the idea is that you're supposed to, like, as a GM, you're supposed to bring these up and being like, this is something you have to deal with, and if you don't deal with it well, something bad is going to happen.
Oh yeah.
You're going to take a penalty.
I get that that's the idea.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't really do much, but
like, why wouldn't I take these and then just deal with it if it comes up? Because the DM is gonna get tired of it.
Yeah, that's always the counterpoint there, being like the GM is going to either have to like crowbar it in a weird way, or they are going to just get annoyed by it and just ignore it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you not to take them, but you can always try. Like, that's kind of, I will say. So I can't say that's the point against this game because so many games make this mistake. But in my opinion, it is a mistake. Okay, it's the romantic one, soft-hearted. Oh look, it's Ezra's. And then equipment and services, money. We play in dinar or dinari. And again, like if we look at stuff, we can, as a normal character, have average items of a weight up to, like, as much as we can carry, the game says. So in a sense, I can immediately defeat the economy of this game by starting with unlimited good tunics, because they don't weigh anything. A GM will stop me, but I will have tried.
I will try, and you cannot stop me.
No, you can't stop me. I'm very stoppable in this sense, but I will try. I will try to sell my 5,000 breeches and 8,000 8,000 good tunics. Pantaloons are expensive though. You can't start with those.
See, then you end up with just like I want a bunch of tiny chainmails.
Yeah,
Have no fear.
exactly.
I have
Because
baby-sized chainmail
the
for my
weight
small
of
patriots.
and this is all the armor stuff because it varies by how big the armor has to be. Cost doesn't vary though, so you get a very small plate mail. And again, like proofed plate is expensive. Yeah, this is why wealthy is good, because then I can start with like 12 suits of proofed plate mail and have 20,000 money to start. That's their rules that they wrote. So I already can't sell that easily, and I can't probably. Maybe the rules also say I have to be able to carry it, but I can start with 1 or 2.
But you don't understand. I am filthy rich. I have the power of money.
I will simply hire people to carry these plate mails for me. But yeah, that's kind of how it bends it to start, where it's like, well, you can't have a main gauge because you aren't a normal person. It's expensive. You can't even have it.
Yeah.
Or you have to buy it for full price, which you can't afford.
Even a sword is technically not available to a normal person because it's an expensive weapon.
True.
It's like I have an axe. I have a knife. Like,
80. That's very expensive.
An expensive sword.
But it's one of those things where you think about it and you're like, yeah, no, I guess that would be the case because it's early Renaissance, late medieval. Like, yeah, you run around with swords everywhere.
I have your workaround because the listed price for a sword is 80 denarii per stone. So a half stone sword would be 40 denarii. A stone is 16 pounds? 13 pounds, something? 14? They say it somewhere.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is stone 20 pounds.
I think it's less, but it's something like that. A real sword weighs 4 pounds, like a normal human sword. So I would pay 20 for it. Yeah,
14 pounds. Sorry.
Here's a question: would a very small sword count as a dagger in a larger character's hands?
No, I paid my extra money for it.
I paid that extra money. I'm buying. Like you are going to buy.
Listen, the only way I could start with a sword was to start with a really small sword. But it is a sword because I need it for my skills.
Or a really big knife. You have to understand.
I don't have dagger skill. Really I bought a sword. It's just for a small person. It's valid though because the game only has rules for if the weapon is too big for you. Not if it's too small. Which, yeah, this is kind of the engineer brain. This doesn't really work in the falls apart under any scrutiny part of this game, where specifically the items, where I'm like, yeah, but if my skill says sword on it and it says I even a throw sword, I have both. I must have a sword. I can't have a dagger. That's a different skill, probably. Also, there is no throw dagger skill, so maybe the dagger is a sword.
I think it counts as a sword because if you go down to the very end of the book to the actual charts for everything, it counts as swords: dagger, knife, quarter stone sword, half stone sword, 3/4 stone sword, or a full stone sword.
Wow.
Yes, you can technically buy a full stone sword, which costs 1 stone. It takes 2 hands to use successfully, and you do 2d12 damage with it. On the other hand, literally anyone who is not strong breaks both their arms attempting to use it.
It's funny then that literally no one, unless they start wealthy, can even have a sword to start. Because you get money as much money as your dice in your job. So your job is maximum a D12. So you would have to start with a D12 in your mercenary and then a D8 and something else. And you can buy a quarterstone sword. Nothing else.
I guess there's also the other option of getting a sword, which is using the knife you just purchased and stabbing the guy with the sword.
I suppose that's true.
Yeah, it's just like counterpoint. I am going to kill you for your very expensive sword. Like it's. I guess that means like a lot of characters I think are going to be starting out with like an axe or a mace. Like if you are rich, if you are a rich character and I'm playing a noble or something, you start with a sword. But like an axe is like fundamentally worse in some cases because you just don't deal as much damage with it.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to see where they even have it.
On the it's right below swords.
Oh.
Yeah, literally below swords.
Oh yeah, right. I was so past it. I guess 2d10, d4 is not really that much worse than 2d12.
Yeah, like it's not too much bad. Worse. Arguably, it might even be better because you're just rolling more dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those like, that's kind of a weird. It's a weird note being like, yeah, you use a mace. Getting a good mace isn't too difficult. And if like, oh no, it's a knight, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna club your skull in. Like, I win.
And so it's these are the things everybody eats, by the way. Because again, Scalies get the short end of the stick.
Yeah, sorry, Scalies, you don't get to have these things.
So much you can pay people, or people will demand for their services, which is a very D&D second edition page to include in your game.
No, did you notice with all the lizards, they name them after horses and stuff? They're just referred to as, there's like a palfrey you can get. Because I got really thrown off when I first was reading through things, because you would see something with like, oh wait, that's a horse. And then you would pause for a second being like, why would a horse be riding another horse? Like, that doesn't work.
So if you look carefully, it's not fucking that thing with, no, it goes through here and they are both attached. This is not.
Well, part of the reason
ma'am.
Well, it's the fact that it's burping, so it's like.
Yeah, it looks like it's enjoying itself a bit. Like, there might be another version of this picture.
Yeah, if that burp wasn't there, that I think this would be a very different picture.
Do you think
that's a dinosaur? Yes, that is a dinosaur.
Do you think they added the burp like on the second pass in the first edition of the book? Doesn't have it.
Probably. That actually makes sense.
Oh god. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna. Okay. We kind of know. We have looked at weapons already. So now, page 117, we get to know how dice rolling works, and from this point on, I'm not explaining it is quicker. Like so on a base level, a thing you have to roll for will get assigned a difficulty by the DM, and that difficulty will be rolled by the DM, and that's the difficulty you have to beat with your skill. So let's say I want to do a routine task, it's 2d6. The DM rolls a 3 and a 4. The number I now must beat is the 4. Because that's the higher of the rolls. That is for normal, it's contested activities actually. This is non-contested, only roll 1 die. Right, sorry. Contested things roll 2. Because you generally roll attribute and skill, right? And then what you do is, so I rolled a 3 and a 4. Let's say you have a 2d8 to roll, and you roll a 6 and a 4. Then you would look at your higher die, which is a 6, compared to my higher die, which is a 4, and realize, okay, you won that dice. And then you would compare the second pair of dice, and I would win again because I rolled a 4, you rolled a 3 there. So I won the roll overall. If for some reason I have 3 dice and you have 2, your third rolls count as a 1. So,
which is a botch, effectively.
It's not so. It's so. if you roll it, it's a botch, but if you don't roll, it's just the worst you can have, because that's basically always gonna be a success for the other side because they're better at whatever's going on. This is why not having that extra dice is so good in a combat situation. Because let's say two people who have 2d12 are fighting. That's a fair contest. But if one person is a d4 from something on top, then every time they attack, that third dice for the other guy is going to show a 1. And you're going to put your lowest one against it. And that's probably not a 1 as well. It's probably like at least a 2 or 3, you know? So you always end up winning on the third dice more so than the first ones almost. And obviously it's very swingy as well. But just like to explain that. And also last rule, if your margin for a roll is 5 or more, you have overwhelmingly succeeded, which adds another success point, basically. In the case of an attack, that would mean you take extra damage from the attack. Which is why then, if you have 3d12 and the other side is 2, you're probably going to win. And I like this system, but again, it's a case of if someone is just going to level their main thing to high heaven until it's maxed, then it kind of breaks apart if other people don't do that.
It is interesting though. It leads to a very weird situation. Is that having a lot of dice that are middling, like rolling like I have 1d12 versus I have 2d6, a d8, and a d10.
Yeah.
Like technically, the guy with the d12 has effectively a 2 in 12, about a sixth of chance to just mog you. You're just gonna lose because he's gonna roll an 11 or 12, and you can't beat that.
Yep.
On the other hand, you've got multiple attempts to try to beat him with that, and he could roll a 1. And if you roll a 1, you botch, and it's a catastrophic super failure, and everybody laughs at you.
Yeah. And this is especially bad again in case some of these cases, for example, damage dice.
Oh yeah.
You don't just look at you rolled an 11. Well, that's a lot, but that's fine. The other dice are shit. Doesn't matter because you rolled an 11. No, you're going to compare each die rolled to the other person's die, or 1 if the other person doesn't have a die. Meaning, if you lag in dice, you are really fucked in combat. Really fucked.
Yeah, like a really competent person with a good weapon who is ready to kill you can, if you are like, I only have 1 thing as soak, haha. Yep. You get hit, you are on the ground bleeding to death.
Yeah. There's an example there's an example in this book, I forget where. I think we might actually be very close. What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on there? What the fuck? I mean, it's raining. What are you climbing up a tree?
I guess it's like dirt mound. Like you see, it's like you're climbing up.
Oh yeah, it could be a dirt, like a very steep dirt, like overhang or something. Yeah.
Oh. Honestly, that particular one looks again like somebody's fetish art that they repurposed and then added like, oh no, let's turn that into mud.
God, screw away. They have an example in here where a guy just stabs a peasant for 6 damage. Because the peasant has 1 dice and the stabbing person has 3 dice. And they just annihilate the peasant immediately.
Silent peasant, it explodes.
But yeah, that's the basic mechanic of the dice. And which is why it's so important to have many dice.
And it works too. Like there are systems like this that have been written that just don't. But this one, it works.
Yeah. Again, the one place where this falls apart is if you have a big discrepancy between different characters having like different pools for it, so it becomes difficult to like balance anything.
Yep. And if you played Savage Worlds, you pretty much know what's going on here.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And that is combat, and then we have a big dumb list of levels and bonuses, which I must be honest, I stared and then I scrolled on because what the hell?
The bonus system is weird. The best way to explain the bonus system is like, hey, you have 2 bonuses, and you have a D10. Okay, you don't. It's not like D10 plus 2 because that would make sense. You would instead increase the level up by that amount, so it'd be D12. It would go to D12 and then D12 plus 4, which would technically make you an expert at it, which would beat ties. It's very strange, but like bonuses aren't quite like another thing.
Yeah,
like the reroll fucking
there
reroll
is
system.
There is a progression in it. Oh fuck, we didn't explain rerolls. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where the hell those are because it's like it's just like it's inserted in randomly.
Yeah, okay, rerolls. I can explain them. I don't need to find it even. So in the example, let's say we are trying to arm wrestle someone. We have 1d12. They have 2d12. No, wait, actually can't explain it because that makes sense because we just roll both.
So for each penalty, here's the thing.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
if a bonus
penalty,
increases
right.
our die, you would think a penalty would reduce the die size. That's incorrect. Ha ha ha, hee hee, hoo hoo, ha ha. What happens is you re-roll all of your dice. You take the worst score. So there's a chance that you will like, oh, I'm rolling like 2d6 plus a d8. I roll, oh cool, I got a cool roll. And if I have a -1 penalty, I just re-roll that and just see what I just take the worst result.
Yeah.
If you have like -3 penalty to it, you roll that shit 3 freaking times.
Oh, like, so bad.
It's such a weird mechanic.
Yeah. So what it ends up meaning is that if you have a penalty, like you get mega disadvantage in this game. If you thought having disadvantage in D&D felt bad, then imagine having to roll like 4d dice and then taking the worst one. It's not great. It's not gonna go well for you if you have that much disadvantage.
Yeah, like anything like even like 1 or 2, like 2 points of penalty is already like it's over. Like it's just so annoying to calculate.
Yeah, it is.
Having more than that, it's just like you just fail, man. Let's just give up. It's over.
It's over. Then we see they have a lot of explanations for specifically how to use the skills now, which is weird because we had skills earlier.
I like the way that this is done though, because they give you like exactly like what are you actually rolling? Are you exactly rolling like an ambush? It's speed versus 6th sense. And if you have mind, if you're being vigilant about things, or hey, appraisal. Hey, don't forget if it's against the difficulty, and your forgery skill if you're trying to use forgery to do it.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, and they do give you a lot of, I guess you would call them target numbers, but you give a lot of like the difficulties, the different modifiers, the different things going on, and there's a lot of these.
Oh yeah.
True. The
thing I do like about all of this is that like there are other systems that will just like abruptly out of nowhere introduce hey, we're going to use this other mechanic now, blah blah blah. No, you're still using the same central dice mechanic for nearly everything.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
they did make it work.
Yeah, the central dice mechanic is if you can learn that system, you will learn the entire rest of the game.
Yeah.
It's just what we roll against and why we are rolling. And I do enjoy it. And there's a reason why what do they call it? It's not the compass system. They actually have a name for this system. They gave it a name later on, and that's why they use it for everything they do pretty much anymore.
A step die system?
It has like a very specific name that they gave.
Oh, step dice. Oh no.
It's not a step die system. It's a step die system, but they call it.
Yeah, it's something more specific. Yeah.
It's like the compass system.
Yeah.
They don't have a. Oh, it's this page. thought they might list what their system's called.
I just realized that that's what they call it in Dungeon Crawl Classics. That's a step die system.
Oh.
Because in their case, you are literally rolling bigger and weirder dice in that system, like a D14 or a D28.
Captains of Illustration. Sorry, let's just go back to first edition for now. Yeah, a lot of like, yeah, here's rules. Look at rules. What do you do for foraging? What do you do for this, that, and the other thing? I don't mind it. I just think it could have just gone into the skill section, but then that might be too long as well. Like I say it should be in one section because it would be more neat. At the same time, the specifics being here isn't terrible, because if I know I want to be able to forage, I'll buy the skill and then worry about how to use it later, because I know how many dice I have anyway.
That last picture there, that was like a good meme format picture.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. You can put whatever you want up here.
Yeah.
A big butt or something.
Big butts. My self-esteem.
This is also a good meme picture, because what's he doing a reverse jump like at the Olympics?
Oh no.
Is that like just like a cheer? Like what's the angle at this? Like
No,
it's just like a vertical, like pure vertical jump.
Because this is in jumping. I think this is supposed to be a reverse high jump, which you don't do in real life, because there's usually not a sports mat where you're landing.
What are you implying? You don't just backflip everywhere? oh no! The line of the store is long. I better backflip real fast.
Okay, it might be backflipping, but yeah, this misses move lines, I guess. This feels like someone like pressed pause on their on their like Olympics broadcast and then drew this. I don't know.
Like anytime you see like a really detailed mechanic of like running and jumping and things like that, I always have like this weird belief that somewhere during a test game, someone was like, "How do I do this? I need to do a backwards long jump, half A press across the roof," and the GM is just sitting there looking at the gun in the cabinet, being like, "This is today the day. I'm ready. I'm coming home."
This is the same reason why, like, in D20 Modern, there's always this thing where somebody at the table would bring up, "So why aren't there rules for skateboarding?" This is why. Because you'd have to include everything, and it would be terrible.
I enjoy that picture for leadership is someone botching their leadership role, because those two people are not happy.
They're not having it.
Yeah, that's like a ooh, yeah, ain't gonna work. This ain't it, Chief.
Yeah.
You should go back to the lunch pack there, Esmeralda.
Magic, reliability cannon. Okay. Like in some cases, the game just rolls like stuff on its own. Again, for a weapon, it might.
It does.
Yeah, no, the thing we have are kind of garbage. However, technology is an art.
This isn't a science, people. Is this cannon choleric today? It's gonna fire angrily.
Like, yeah, no, imagine like that's when you like scroll down a little bit, you get to see the botch results. You know, something on the device breaks or will not work until repaired. Catastrophe, unstable, the volatile device explodes.
Like botch is less bad than the overwhelming failure.
Yeah, overwhelming failure is just like, okay, I'm gonna light the cannon, and you just hear a clunk, and like that doesn't sound.
Yeah, it's time to look
Looney
into the
Tunes
barrel to see if it's actually gonna do something. Oh no!
Oh no!
Yeah, a lot of
Coyote that shit.
I'm gonna. But one of the favorites of favorites in this book is the warfare one. Because the game is like in the savage world of Ironclaw, spray outbreaks of war, grim fact of life. Clerics may be pressed into militias or other levies to partake in large-scale battles. Sometimes part of these battles may be gamed out using the advanced combat rules. Other times, it's not necessary, especially if the war is a backdrop for the main role-playing setting of an adventure. For quickly resolving the effects of warfare, the game host may call for a warfare test. And I'm like, so my character might die of the result of this one test? Can I please play that test out? If my character might fucking die?
Like, it's one of those things where you're like, oh man, I mean, it's the furry game, it's the funny hee hee hoo hoo fun furry game, and then you look down at like the actual like situation there, being like, yeah, no, I get my character dying horribly. I play Legend of the Five Rings. I remember dying heroically on the front lines.
Like this guy is still hype, but this guy is like, oh my god, I'm about to fucking die and dropping my sword. Like, it's like surreal.
This is scary. I don't want to be here.
Oh, I don't want to leave.
Like,
this is like,
it's really interesting. This is just one of those things where it comes with like just this like weird juxtaposition. Because again, cover it's furry Lita inverse. Your dragon, I guess, would be furry slaving someone else, and then you look here being like, oh god, we have to drag someone away from the battlefield. His leg has been torn off. Oh god, I'm scared.
Can I roll to steal some boots after the battle? Like,
yeah, especially when you think like, oh man, we're doing great. You know, we got our brave cavalry charge of horses on lizards, and then you just hear like a musket line fire. You're like, oh shit! Oh god!
It's somehow very funny to imagine horses riding something.
Just this extremely grim battlefield, except you just turn the corner and it's Robin Hood.
Yeah, I just realized, you know what the worst part is? Like, depending who you're fighting, you can't even steal any boots because they don't wear any, because they have hooves or something.
Oh, we were fighting the horse people this week. My feet must be unprotected.
Like, campaign idea, Saving Private Rhino. That's Urban Jungle, thank you very much. Urban Jungle's way fucking spookier for that.
Saving Private Rhino is great. Like, and you can realize, please, that the difficulty dice for surviving an easy battle unscathed is 4d10.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's legitimately, it's what you do is like you're getting all of their people, all of your people, and you're just throwing dice at one another and being like, yeah, I know you'll probably end up with a pretty bad injury.
Like, because when you're rolling the 4d10, the enemy is rolling 5d12 or greater for their difficulty. And then you take whatever, what do you even roll on your side?
It's effectively, that's just how the battle is going.
Damage roll. Holy fuck.
Then you make a survival test. Yeah, you roll everything, like, okay, we do pretty well. You roll the difficulty. If you fail, if you suffer 6 hits, 2 saving throws against death.
Oh, you get to that.
But then you get it's like, okay, then you get a separate d6, 6d6 as a damage roll. For each hit above difficulty, you score a point of glory. You get an actual, like, you can do it phenomenally poorly in the battle and just get mogged. But hey, you did really, people thought you were being really heroic.
You look really cool how you got stabbed 5 times.
Like, I did what? Yeah. Go me.
Like, imagine that being decided off of 1 dice roll. Like, your character is not deceased because you rolled bad for your survival on the battlefield. Like, I would want to play that, to be honest. Anyway, but that's not even how combat works. We haven't even found that part
this
yet.
This is just a single thing of warfare.
Oh, God. So, oh yeah, wait, 2 people are dead now. 3 people are dead. Was this pig killed Concoran? Like, Concoran is this guy. I don't know. That's Gavin. Gavin is dead. And now we are at combat. How does that work? Well, it's the same as the other stuff. We almost basically went over it. There is a lot of rules about using weapons that are too big for you, which is an awkward weapon. There's a lot of, like, there's more than one initiative phase depending what weapon you are using and what you are doing. You can forego attacking to just defend, getting a bonus to defense. A 2 bonus, actually, which is very big, as we have seen in the list earlier. But you already went over kind of how it works. Like, you roll your dice, you compare them, and then you might have hit somebody. If you hit somebody, you look at your damage dice, you roll those. Enemy uses rolls their soak dice and takes damage. Probably. Oh, Bastard, thank you for the resub.
Probably like the worst case scenario is someone who is supposed to dodge or someone who is supposed to not get hit with a horrible soak die and no armor getting hit by a big spooky weapon, and then you just kind of get evaporated.
Yes.
You're like, ooh, that used to be a person there.
Yeah.
They're gone now.
Yeah, because like if you scroll down a little bit, we're gonna see like a hit points explained. There's a lot of intricacies to this, but the basics I have just explained. Like, there's the ranged combat is also like you can dodge ranged combat, but there's scatter tables in this and everything, which is very engineer brained again. Like, not really interested in going over all of it. The basic system works like we have explained here. Okay, this is somebody's hit points. They have 12 hit points. Let's say they have shit for defense. Let's say they only have a d4 for defense for some reason. If I hit them with an attack that does like 3d12 damage, chances are I just did 6 damage to them, which is half of a track of somebody. And this is 12 is already more than the minimum. People might have way less. And then you get to here. I guess how you take damage again. If the damage die is higher than your soak die, you take 1 damage. If it's 5 higher, you take 2. That's the basic rule. And then we get to the unconsciousness and death rolls. So, look at Simba. What have they done to my boy?
Yeah, Simba's looking rough. Like,
Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm having another moment. That looks very close to the Torians from Monty Cook's Arcana Evolved.
This looks
like way too close.
This also super hard reminds me of another picture that exists.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it's called.
I know there's like a Conan-esque one that is not a lion man that looks exactly like this.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like... I have seen this without the lion face before, basically. That's what I'm thinking.
It makes me think this was Frazetta, and then somebody did their own version of it.
Yeah.
It's like Lena Inverse.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good, though.
So to explain a bit more, though. As soon as we take 3 damage overall, at the end of every combat round, we have to roll for unconsciousness. It's just a d4 here. As we can see, it goes up to 2d12. And what we roll against it is our body dice. So it's 1 die we roll. Which is also maximum a d12. Sorry, 4d12, I misread it. Goes quite high. And then, we also, if we get hit and we take a total of 6 damage or more, roll a death roll, because we might just bite it at that moment.
Oh yeah, no, it's not a traditional death spiral in like, oh well, you've taken 2 damage, therefore you get -2 to your roll or whatever. It is a weird risk death spiral, being like, congratulations, you have taken 5 damage. You are now gambling with staying awake.
You're not just staying awake, you're gambling with being decapitated on your next strike.
Yeah, like 1 bad hit. Like if you get like a hit with like 7 damage, you're like probably going to pass out and you probably are going to die. You got a good 50-50 of
like
just
if you
dying.
Let's say you have a d8 in body, which is like the average, right? D8 is average in this. So as soon as you take 5 damage, you have a 50-50 shot of falling unconscious. And as soon as you take 8 damage, you have a 50-50 shot from then on out to just for that to die off. Anything above, you have more than a 50% chance of just instantly being dead. And there is a resurrection spell I should mention. They mentioned that that's like in a side note somewhere around here, because you can first aid, turning a few of the damages you took into like fatigue points, and you can long-term heal.
Because one of the funniest things too is that there is a wound system as well. Like you could take a wound, which is now then that's just a flat penalty too. Like, yeah, no, sorry, you're just going to die at this point. Like,
yeah, haven't talked about that yet, but yeah, you can also take like the kind of wounds that actually give you disadvantages, because this is just you dying off of combat damage. But there's also wounds and even permanent damage in this. Like your lion man can get maimed in combat, and then good luck like finding a wizard to heal you, or rather cleric, whatever. And I have a bunch of more rules about falling damage, fire damage, starvation and thirst, grappling. Of course, every grappling system by law must have a weird table. Here's theirs.
Weird table.
It's not even that weird, but it's like, you know.
It's the grappling table.
Yeah, it is always
it's the grappling table.
It's just like you can't. Grappling is always it's always a beast in everything somehow. No one dies in this one. Then we have magic. You have basically spell points that you spend to cast the spells. You have your dice in your wizard skill determines how many magic points you get back per rest. So like if you have a d12 in Thaumaturge, you roll a d12 to get magic points back. And then you level basically each spell is its own skill. And I'm trying to remember, you would have to... so weird. Here it is, yeah. This is... because this is not very... how do you put it? Intuitive to me. But how it works is... So, someone wants to cast the Pilum of Fire, which is a difficulty of 3d12. The elemental wizard trait is 1d12, and her mind is d8. So casting rolls d8 and d12 together. She rolls 9 and a 4. The difficulty rolls 8, 5, and 2. The spell works. Why does it work? Because 9 is bigger than 8. However, the attack of the spell is now the DM's roll of 8, 5, 2. So the damage this does to somebody is off of these dice, if it hits. Which is an interesting and pretty elegant system, actually, but it doesn't want to stay in my brain for some reason.
It's a weird way of doing it, contrasting the ways that all other damage has been done.
Yes.
It's like, here's something new now. This is one of those instances where it's like, here's a brand new thing that you must now deal with.
Yep.
This doesn't do it often, but...
Yeah, one of the few places in this where I would say magic is the one place where they kind of break their own rules. But you know what? It's magic, so that's kind of fine.
Yeah, it's like out of any place, being able to throw a goddamn thing of fire at someone is a way to break the rules.
Yeah. And this wizard trait is D12 so wait, you don't. It said somewhere that you can like level up the spells and then you don't have to roll anymore.
Yeah, scroll down a little bit to adept, to the adept section.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the idea of adept spells are actually, I like it. It's a weird idea, but I like the idea of it. It's effectively like if you have a spell that is like level 2, costs 2 magic points. If you get that up to level 2, you have to, before that, you have to make a check to actually cast the spell. Okay, I roll my casting, I succeed at casting the spell, and the effect occurs. If you would level it up to that point of how much magic points it actually costs. You don't have to roll to cast it.
All
the
right,
mana,
that's what it was. Yes. Thank you.
And it's like, oh, that is, you just cast it immediately.
You spent
And it's
points.
like, that's interesting, because I guess the idea is you can also do that with combat spells, in theory, but I think it's just expensive and difficult to do
most
that.
combat spells are like similar to this 3d12 one, so you're gonna level that a while. But yeah, eventually you can do that. Let's just have your explain like different targetings.
Yes, and
What's
we do
the
have
scope of
magic
the
points
spell?
in this.
Yep,
We love magic points, everyone. We love
You know,
mana.
we love mana for sure. Then they have come summon some things that they might have their own magic points. The salamander. That's a fucking dragon, I'm sorry. Look at this. There's your scalies, folks.
There you go.
Let's summon them.
Sorry, Scalies.
And here we have a bear showing his ball to... what are you? A dolphin man? Wow. Is that supposed to be an Undyne? Or so?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't
Maybe.
like whatever the hell it is. It scares me.
Yeah.
I'm worried of looking at that.
Huh?
Oh no.
But yeah, there's a lot of different spells, but it
Mhm.
really, a lot of them feel more utility based than like,
Yeah.
I'm going to cast Fireball.
Like the apprentice spell lists are kind of like, oh, scry Earth. You scan the local Earth for information. Among other things, this will tell you if any Earth magic was cast last few hours, if any Earth elements are present, the general composition of the Earth, including precious metals. Maximum range is 12 paces. See the scry test, blah, blah, blah. Then you have Destroy Earth. Destroys a small amount of Earth, blah, blah, blah. Like, mode create avert Earth. What the fuck is avert Earth again? That protects the single combatant from hostile Earth magic. Okay, yeah, okay. And that's just the same for air and fire and water. And that's your list. And then you have the journeyman list. Adapted in all 5. You can pick it per element. And then that actually gives you some useful spells.
Yeah, like you end up with like, even with like, oh, air magic. Oh, look at me, I can use the air. I'm an airbender. Lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3d12 damage at range. Wink.
Yeah. And earth magic throws like a stone hurlant. I don't know.
It's
Yeah,
a technical term.
It's like
Yeah,
the
like, some of these, like, you're not having fun if you get hit by them.
Nope.
But it takes a while. Like, you gotta get your foundationals down, your foundation first, and then you can have like the big special spells. But it's like, well,
Can I just have herd animals from Hackmaster, please? Fire has Pilum of Flame, and water has Maelstrom. Sounds way well. And freeze arrows. Like they all like this is kind of this is a bit boring because they all have 3d12. Like it's just the element which you would like it to be. It's a bit meh.
It's a bit samey, yeah.
And then they also all have the AoE one, which is 1d, which is 4d10. And they have Master Skill List, which is even more OP, because their chain lighting is 5d12. And that's how wizards get strong. And then you have white magic, which is clerical, I believe, and you can cure the flu or fleas or maim.
Or flea.
Or the
You can
common cold.
tell this is a medieval simulator when
Yeah.
somebody says you can cure fleas.
No syphilis in this.
No syphilis.
And you're the audience. Then you get more spells if you level it up, but you get all of them in a big batch altogether. And then you can specialize in any one of them to like learn it and make it good enough so that you don't have to roll to cast. But there isn't really a downside to failing except you lose the magic points and it costs you an action. So out of combat, for example, having healing and 3d8 isn't that hard to hit. So you probably don't need healing to level up. As an example of like for example, greater manifold 5d6. That sounds bad, but I still can roll as a d6. If I have a d12 and a d8 against that, I'm probably gonna make it.
You're probably gonna make it, yeah.
Also, like they have Cure 3. Like this is very Final Fantasy of them.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that in here. I guess the best way that I can keep putting this is just like they did see Siembieta stuff say I can do this better because this reflects in the magic system and some other things.
Mm-hmm.
But then they also looked at the very engineering brain games that they played before, like Rollmaster, and we're like, we can simplify this. We can make this more palatable to the wider furry audience. And then they just had Robin Hood on repeat on the TV in the break room.
Yeah, they really must have had. Oh man. I have green and purple magic, which is basically illusion and mind magic. That's what you would expect that to do. Scroll. You have thaumaturgy, which is what Lena, as legally distinct Lena, I forgot her name, uses.
Mavra,
thank you.
LDL, legally distinct Lena.
I guess she's also no wait, she's also an elementalist because this doesn't even have any fighting spells.
Yeah,
Right.
no, it's like
She had elementalist and this then, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Elementalist is pretty much the only one that has like a lot of overt combat spells.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to blow someone up, you are a element.
Wow. This is more like the abjuration and divination schools if you want. If you want to talk it in D&D terms. And then comic. I thought this guy had only one arm for a second, but now he's just scratching his ass. This guy is weird jumping just also a skill you should have in this?
Apparently, because everybody does it.
Oh yeah, there's atavism. Atavism is a special kind of magic.
Yep.
Like you have to buy it, but when you become an atavist, you get a bunch of bonuses to no armor. You get a bunch of like encumbrance bonuses, and some of your like powers are like, yeah, I get to use Cry of 100 Souls. And when I do that, everyone starts fucking pissing their pants and wanting to run away. I'm like, oh, that's all right.
It is kind of like being a werewolf, but you're also a wolf normally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you literally are like, it's time to go primal.
Yes. This is the barbarian / like, I don't know, fury character.
Adept. It's like barbarian mixed with adept.
Yeah, true. It's kind of all of that. And then we have experience. And experience in this works in an interesting way. Let's first look at costs, because then we can kind of see. So if I want a skill at 1, it costs 5. If I want to raise a skill, it also costs 5. If I want to add a new trait, it costs 15. If I want to increase a trait to the next level, it costs 20. And change the favorite use on a skill is 1. So how it works is, at the end of a session, the DM is going to be like, I feel like you got 1, 2, and 3 experience. And then you will put down 3 experience into one thing, 2 into another thing, and 1 into another thing. And that's actually like in the sheet. Does this also have
It's called self-improvement.
Sheet doesn't have that section, but yeah, there's a self-improvement section where you would write down any partial points you have. Like if you're like, I would like to raise my sword skill from 5 to 6, would cost 5 XP. I got 3 XP this session, so I put 3 down. The next session, if I get 2 XP, I can put them in. And then you could potentially, if you get 3 again, you could put those in and keep it at 1 for the next time you want to raise it, and so on and so forth. Very simple. I like that it's not level-based, because level-based systems are more annoying to me unless they do something interesting with it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You can improve a lot of things. Even just like I want to get a new trait. I want to become more charismatic. Being like, all right,
Yes.
you use 15 experience to get D4, and you gotta find someone to give you experience in that thing. I'm like, I like that. It's a unique way of doing experience and makes it feel a little bit more natural.
Yeah,
Mr. Y
and
asks, Jade review when Notepad?
Jade Claw never ever. Oh god, Jade Claw. If you made things infinitely stranger than Ironclaw.
What did you want to say, Drake?
This is better than systems that have that demand of like so Call of Cthulhu here, demand that okay, you use the skill and now you roll to see if you can improve that skill. I like this because it's kind of yeah, there is a progress over time, but you can't just spend it on whatever.
Yes. They do mention that you should have used the skill if you want to raise it, or made an effort in some way to like acquire the skill, which makes sense, of course. But yeah, the problem with Cthulhu is the double annoyance of okay, I have to remember to mark that the skill has been used.
Yeah.
Then I have to, if I want to erase it, roll over my skill, and that's just not a sure thing, and it's annoying just to deal with, in my opinion.
It is. It's like the wrong kind of bookkeeping, but I do like systems like this that it's still a choice for you as the player. Hey, I used a sword this session. I'm going to focus on that, even if I only swung it once.
Yeah.
Versus, I talked to a lot of people, and I don't want to raise my charisma further.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like even like the thing of like you can get new careers, you can get new ways of doing things. I want to get a new gift. I want to do this. I want to do that. It's like you at least feel like you're getting something every session.
It's one of those things where the min-maxing person in me is like, okay, how many careers have famous weapon in them? Like, how many careers can I buy at D4 to get more D4s to attack with?
But even then, if you think about it, I mean, like, that isn't even like as good necessarily as
like I'm thinking it is, because the other side's gonna run out of dice, and then it's 1 versus my D4, kind of.
It's when it comes to like damage and stuff, having more dice is usually good. But with like how like a basic roll is done, it's whoever has the highest. That's
true.
the thing.
Yeah, that's
whoever
true.
has the highest. So it's like, yeah, I have like 5 D4s versus hey, he's got a D8 and rolled a 6. Uh-oh.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but even like having like a couple different careers, having a different attributes and things, it's like, yeah, this is a nice way to improve yourself that feels both natural, and you can't just say I've improved my lockpicking by 5 points.
Yes. It's also quick, kind of quick at least, because you're gonna get 5 XP like basically in 2 or 3 things after like 2 sessions. So you can level up 3 things, like 2 or 3 things every other session. That's an okay amount of advancement. Because that's like one of those things that also with leveling based systems, you run into the issue that, hey, would you like to raise this? Well, fuck you. Your level isn't going to come up until 10 sessions from now. So all your personal growth that your character is doing isn't going to be reflected at all. And that's always bad. Not to mention, again, like in so many things, like let's again say D&D. If I'm a barbarian in D&D, I can never be good at social stuff. Unless I at the very start of the game, put a point in it. For some reason, somehow. Otherwise, I'd have to wait like 4 levels, potentially, to buy skilled as my feat to get proficient in something that I don't remember proficient in. Like, it is so reductive. It is so bad. And I like that in this, even if I start as the prodigy guy with 2d12 in sword and a mercenary and everything, I can be like, well, my character wants to turn a new leaf. I'm going to learn how to be a carpenter. And then
I want to turn my sword in the plowshare.
Yeah.
But man, I'm really good with the sword.
I shall not draw the sword unless to defend the innocent from this point onwards. So I have to do something else to earn money. Like, you can do that. You can't do that in a D&D game. Straight up.
You just can't. Like, there's a lot of... Wow, I can't believe I'm saying this, but there's a lot of roleplay possibilities in this that are baked into the mechanics themselves versus other games like, 5th edition D&D, where 90% of everything is just about combat.
Yeah. Furry undead confirmed.
Yeah. The fur dead, if I may.
Yeah, the fur dead. Just real quick. And then we get a few pages of setting. This boils down to, it is the early Renaissance. We're on a big island. And stuff's in the hand of a few noble houses who control parts of the island. And that's it. I don't want to get into it too much more. They have a lot of dramatis personae where they like give you a little blurb about a guy that you might meet in the town, which is pretty okay. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit.
But generally speaking, like, if you want to, like, the most basic rundown of the lore is, hey, the king sucks. All the noble houses are trying to kill each other for ultimate power.
Exactly.
You're an asshole in the middle. Go get him, chief.
It's kind of like, imagine if Italy had a king, but an ineffectual one. And the Renaissance just started. And we're like, I like this amount of information for your like NPCs, because you don't need much more.
Build something off of.
Exactly.
Enough to be like, this is way too detailed.
And then, unlike certain games that list literally every borough in New York with like its precinct and whatever, here's a city, like here's 20 lines about the city. Here is some current affairs. Here's some landmarks. What's the climate like? Done.
They do go into the different houses though.
Yeah,
those are kind of like. Yeah. But no, those are kind of like, you kind of need to know a lot about them to give a good idea of like who's going to be paying us.
Yeah. Who's going to be paying the party to do things, or who's going to be the enemy, kind of thing. And the houses obviously are very much aligned along certain racial lines, which in other things might be problematic, but in
other contexts could be very bad. In this context, actually really awesome.
It's the way they explain each of the different factions and the different groups are kind of interesting. If you actually really kind of delve into them, it's like, like the pig people, they are, the boars, I should say. They have like this really shitty territory that isn't really good, but so they've just been expanding militarily, and they're like, we want to take over the continent. We want to be king by virtue of conquest.
Yeah.
And it's like, I believe the wolves are technically the king currently, but the king sucks, so the wolves are in regression. That's the entire thing, if I remember correctly. That might be too.
Yeah, I think we're not going to get into that too much.
But
just know that there is a setting and that it's workable, and this is your riding mounts. Your scalies get ridden in this.
Yeah, again, you are raptor knights. You joust people on raptor knights. I'm like, that's. I'm not saying that ain't cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I follow it too, because I like anything riding dinosaurs. So. And
here we have the weirdest table in this, because they had to make up their own like month system.
Whenever an RPG for like its initial release or like its second release includes like a detailed calendar, engineers.
The thing is with it too, it's weird if it because it makes sense, because all the boars worship a completely different god.
Yep.
These are two different calendars by two completely different gods, and they're like, no, we have separate calendars. They're like, it's the 28th of what? You have to tell us.
I do like that they list you. Oh yeah, but this is Birch 6 to Rowan 8 in the other calendar. Like, okay. Yeah, you give us lore information, but you also wrote this because you got a little bit of a boner from it, didn't you, Arthur?
I'm like, I see that. I see the Excel spreadsheet. You stop it. Put it down right now.
This is also very. My wife was researching the Gregorian
Yeah.
calendar, and we discovered the lunar calendars that existed before that, and then they put this in there.
Notice how it says lunation as well.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, no,
Oh god.
this is someone's, this is someone's obsession project, and I
Yeah,
respect
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I respect it too. It's just
Respect.
always a sign like that no one was there to stop them. But maybe we knew this
So
from the
true,
start
though.
because they literally did every piece of work on this book except all of the art or most of the art. So of course no one stopped them. And yes, everyone in this having a bad Italian accent is canon. That makes sense. Here is your map.
See, it reminds me distinctly of Furry Pirates. Have you read Furry Pirates before?
I have seen it. I've not read it.
Furry Pirates is probably one of the best books to just learn vaguely about that era, this like sailing era.
Yeah.
And there are boats in it that are lovingly hand drawn and done just right. Because one of the furries there, that was his obsession thing. He loved boats and he drew all of the boats by hand. And they're very detailed. It's like, this is just your obsession project, isn't it? Like, oh god.
Amazing. So basically, we bolted the furries onto our existing thing.
Yeah.
To its credit, this doesn't feel like that. This is the one area I'd say, okay, you just had to put it in. You couldn't resist.
Yeah, no, this was someone's like, this is my thing now. Just it being for it doesn't even matter. Like, this is my thing. Like, I have to put this in. Like, why? You don't need to.
And they give you like a little list of potential enemies, very few of them. This game is interesting in that you aren't really going to fight animals, are you? Like, except maybe a dinosaur. So everyone you're fighting is going to be an intelligent creature. So good luck, I suppose. And there's exactly 4 pages of hosting the game. Or 5? 6? Actually, okay, I misremembered. It was 6. And then there's a little adventure. And that's the book.
Yeah.
It's a very to the point. It's weirdly to the point in some areas, and other times it likes us to delay. Being like, okay, just tell me what I need to know. No.
Oh yeah, sorry. The last section is black magic. It's tacked on
it's
at the
special
end.
GM only magic.
Yeah, it's GM only evil magic. And then after the black magic concludes, we end in the bathhouse where we all want to be.
Yeah.
Which is a very curious bathhouse because it seems they also have like a big table going around with food on it. I haven't seen that before. I think they might have used to do that. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a middle upper class thing usually.
Yeah, like I would find it rather awkward to like get in the tub with my family if we go out for dinner. But whatever, you do you.
I mean, they're already naked most of the time, so.
No, unless they're barbarians, they all have white pantaloons.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. They're all naked to me.
True. But yeah, then we have some lists again. Okay, and now let's look at second edition real quick. We aren't going to dwell on that too long, but firstly, way more generic art for the cover. We went over this at the start. We still have her on here, of course, still doing magic. More bigger World of Warcraft style, dare I say, shoulder pads now that we are there. But also still very Slayers, because this is like Slayerscape stuff. Well,
the image is also World of Warcraft style in that you have a central character, then the 2 flanking behind, and then a central character again in the back.
Oh yeah, true actually.
Yeah,
is she a gnome then? Because the gnome is like at the front because they're small.
Maybe she's just a wee little fox.
True. And then they actually styled their about page. It's nice. We start immediately with their or the sample characters.
I like this a lot
Mansoor
because this is I photocopy this, I cut this out, and then this is the character in my character sheet. I'll just paste in the appropriate location.
This guy doesn't
I
have
like that a lot.
hands. What the fuck? Yes, it
Yeah.
is. Oh, it's just she.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
my character that I played in After the Bomb. Literally.
Oh, it's true. You said a bigger hands on.
Literally is. Complete with the helmet covering the eyes.
And yeah, they only cut the kitsune. Wow.
Yeah. Well, they wanted her for Jade Claw later.
Yeah, makes sense. How much does the horseman mew? Huh? That chin. Yeah, you
Yes.
can grate like toast on that chin.
Well, you do realize that that's an XP of Gaston, right?
Ah, it is.
Yeah, because it's Anton, so it's Gaston. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
But yeah, oh yes, the
This is
second
Cruella.
edition. Second edition art, otherwise known as we don't know what we're doing anymore.
Yeah,
So-
we don't you said Disney, so I drew Cruella de Vil, but as a
There's
raccoon? Question mark.
the weird story here is when second edition was being made, the main guy behind everything, the cartoonist,
Mm-hmm.
he likes this art style. This is what he wants all the art to look like. If he had it his way, this is what it would look like.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at some of their other games, they are like this. They're cartoony, they're slapstick, they're comedy games, effectively, that look like this. But Ironclaw is, as we've read, does not play or look like this.
That's
Because you even
not.
see like Began,
Yeah.
like you see Began up there. You see like Monster. They are the same characters from the same sample characters, but they look very different. And if you were to show someone this, if you were to show Vesper or Hendrik or anything, what do you think this game would be?
Yeah, they would think it's a classic like Toon game or more or less. Like
Yes,
this guy is just out of the fucking Robin Hood movie. Like he is Friar Tuck.
All of the characters are really look at Anton there.
Yeah,
Like
for
Anton
sure.
looks like he looks like he is going to be voiced by the guy who did Dave the Barbarian. I don't know if anyone remembers that movie.
Oh god.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to have that voice. He's going to have the crunk voice or whatever. Like that is what he's going to sound like. Even Mavra, like it's very clear and it's very bizarre. But then you immediately get into the game itself and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. And so what happened? So and here's why I said we're just gonna quickly go in here. Well, we just went over everything in first edition, right? What changed in second edition? Fewer skills, more gifts. There are only 26 skills and that's it. Everything else is a gift, which is why they have listed them here. Actually, I don't know if you have all of them. It's all of them.
Yeah, if there's the one word to say it is streamline. Every single thing that could be taken out or shrunk down has been shrunk down or removed.
Yep. They start you at a lower power level of 2d8s, 3d6s, and a d4 for your species, career, and stats.
Oh.
Yeah, notice you can only get one career unless you take a special gift giving you a second one.
Yep. That was true in first edition too, but it wasn't that expensive there. Flat costs, skill marks cost 4, all gifts cost 10. All gifts have the same cost, but many have requirements. Everyone starts the game with the same number of gifts and skill marks. Bonus and penalties are always more dice. There's no re-rolling anymore. Good change. So if you get your shit reduced down to just like to like the minimum, the enemy just gains more dice now. Basically,
It's pretty much just like a sliding scale. So I have a 2d12 bonus. You have a 2d12 bonus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah. If I have a 2d12 penalty, the other guy just gets more dice. I don't roll less. So basically, and someone in the situation, whoever has the advantage, gets the extra dice. Some gifts grant abilities, blah blah. We have faster combat because they streamlined it, which is good because combat was we glossed over it, but it was annoying.
Combat just took there's always another step in combat than you would think there was.
Yeah.
Like, okay, make sure you do this. Make sure to calculate your initiative just right. Like, here it's bingo, bango, bongo, and they removed health. Instead, you just have wounds now, which are fucking deadly.
Yeah.
Dang.
Edition. Oh Jesus.
It's even worse.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as the last thing, you two, which system do you want to make characters in? Because we have to make characters. This won't take us long.
Oh, it won't take us long. I vote second edition because it's
Sure.
streamlined.
Sure.
Yeah, we can make one in second edition.
Yeah. So, do they have the step system still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
So-
notice when we go to like the way the art is presented, it's a completely different art style.
Yeah.
Like 4 different art styles already. Like
This is so Slayers. Holy crap.
it's
Here we are back to this guy. Kinda.
If there was one thing about second edition I do not like over first edition, fundamentally, it is the rampant changes in the art style that really clash with each other. It's very disorienting when you're going through it sometimes.
Okay. So let's see.
But yes.
First thing I'm preparing to do is to assign our traits. Right?
Yep. Effectively. So you have 1d4, 3d6s, 2d8s.
Right.
You do not get a lot of stat. You are dirt poor.
Yeah. So
You
let's see.
suck at this game.
Let's refer to the character sheet real quick. We have species, we have career, we have body, speed, mind, and will. Okay. Let's try making a fighty character from my end. So let's make species the D4 because I don't need that then. Career D8, speed to D8, and the rest is D6. Pretty simple. Next thing, starting species, cat.
Yeah, you're definitely cat.
We're gonna look up what that entails in a moment. Write down what gifts it gives you, write down your habitat, circle, diet, senses, and weapon. Okay, so where's cat? Armadillo, badger, bat, bear, boar, cat common. I guess I'm cat common.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
again, except when it came to species, when it came to streamlining, there was a lot more species. They just broke up, like, it's not foxes anymore. It's red foxes, gray fox. Not cat anymore. It's cat, panther, lion, and everything else. And, like, if they could break up a species, they can.
They knew their audience. Cycle.
Oh yeah.
Night. Oops.
And every species does begin with special gifts. And a bunch of other things.
Include cat dice with climbing, jumping, and stealth. I'm gonna write that up here. Climbing, jumping, stealth. Weapons, sensors, listen, which is interesting. I would have expected eyes as well, but whatever. Weapons, claws, teeth, and gifts, acrobat, increased speed, and night vision. Oh, there we go. We get night vision. Okay. Let's go back up to look at what our next step is. It's interesting it's a starting species. Can we change species? Starting career. Okay.
That makes way too much sense.
Do they list them? I guess they go underneath the species.
You
right?
get careers after all the species. They start on page 33 or 36 of the PDF. And
Okay.
you get your career dice and your career gifts, and you actually start with items this time.
Oh.
You don't have to just buy them.
Okay,
So it's like-
let's see, chart. I have to look at. Oh, Doppel-Söldner. Sorry, but the E and the L should be switched, guys. So, big 200 sword weapons fighter. This is very German suddenly, that one. Mercenary, pit fighter, messenger, ranger. Let's go ranger.
Yeah, they learned what that word vaguely was, therefore they will use it everywhere
Yeah.
they can.
So,
And there are a bunch of other careers in the back of the book that are not heroic enough.
Combat.
Sorry, everyone, you cannot play a teamster.
Bravery or gifts.
I'm just imagining Jimmy Hoffa, the furry.
Oh no. Okay, bravery, resolve, and veteran. Trappings. Longbow. Short sword. At +1 critical. Okay, doesn't matter. Leather armor and dagger. 7 league boots. Is that a magic item? Isn't that like from a fable or something? The 7 league boots. Whatever. Suppose I just put that in as a name. Starting personality. Okay. Everyone starts with personality gift. What personality should my character have? I don't like that they don't list the pages where this shit is on.
Yeah, welcome to that's a Sanguine Games, just thing. No book they've ever made is laid out well. Again, it's that part of that devil deal they made.
I'm gonna say kind because I don't want to look anything up, and that's just what jumps out at me here. Fuck it. Local, ask your GM where the game will take when we're starting, when they tell you the name of the place. Right on local knowledge. Why would I know the place? Or whatever.
It's kind of like the idea of like you're starting in this area, therefore you know it, or like you're starting here in this town, you know it. It's like I think it's like assuming that the GM is going to tell you what your local knowledge is.
Yeah, like I would assume that it doesn't make, oftentimes not make sense to know the place. And we get 13 skill marks and put 3 maximum in. Look at that in a moment. Then we get 3 more gifts. And some gives a +1 mark to skill. Can push you over 3 mark limit. Okay. Then with a name. And that's the motto. Wow.
Hello, phone.
And then equipment. Okay, I don't really. At this point, I don't think I care. Like choosing my equipment. Or mathing a battle array, I also don't care. But let's just see. So, we already have acrobat, increased speed, night vision, bravery, resolve, and veteran. So I suppose we must look at what those even do. Oh, skills first. Okay, never mind. And we can look at the sheet for skills. So let's see. We would like let's say acrobatics. We want that. Climbing, jumping, stealth. Just writing the ones down I'm getting from a thing. Dodge,
Still have weather sense. I love it.
Fuck yeah.
We must always have weather sense.
Okay. And then, like, I don't know, melee combat is that a thing? Yeah. Okay, let's just searching and dodge. We have dodge already, don't we? We have dodge. Deceit. Okay. That's the skills I want. I know 13 points. Let's just go to trades. Gifts, rather. Oh, here we are. Now, what the fuck?
Yeah, each of the each gifts kind of do different, and there's a bunch of little requirements for them. Like, oh, these ones are only used for battle. These ones have to be rest to use them correctly. Some of them are just, hey, this is just a natural feature you now have, like kind of like Acrobat there. Like, yeah, you have a bunch of new actions that you can do because you have that gift.
I already have that from the cat. Contortionist, coward, fast climber, fast jumper, fast swimmer, frenzied giant. Requires body trade. Oh, so I can't take this? How do I get a D12 body? I can't really do that unless I get my race might give me a bonus, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
unless you do that, or you take a trait. You can also take a gift that increases your body by 1 step. Which, if you already have one, you can technically take it twice and then pick giant. It's a little bit weird, but yeah.
Oh, and that's how they balance. Like, pacifist used to be a negative. Now it's like, oh, you have to be a pacifist, but then also as long as you don't break your gift and don't exhaust it by like fighting somebody, you get an extra dice for defenses. That's pretty good.
Like cowardly gives a bonus to dodge when you're afraid or when you have a fear effect.
Yep, and you can automatically become afraid in a scene.
That's great. See,
so yeah,
this
armadillos are strong.
Okay, this is very good. This is much better than the previous system, where I would take coward because it doesn't have a mechanical problem associated with it.
Yeah,
now it enables roleplay. That's much better.
Yeah, that it does have a lot of things where it's like, here's an actual mechanic, even if it's just you get to claim a D10 or you get to claim a D12 or you get something out of it.
Yeah.
And that's it's a good idea, because if you notice, there's no like flaws, quote unquote, really. And even if there is a flaw, it's still like, yeah, coward is a flaw, is a personality flaw, but on the other hand, dodge this.
Yes. It's observation a skill? That's right.
Yeah, observation's a skill.
Yeah. Okay, let's take keen eyes because I feel like it makes sense for a bow person. Parkour. If I see it, I have to take it. And something for bow fighting, maybe. Cosmopolitan, law, legal authority, nobility. So a lot of these. Trap. Oh. Archer's trappings. Oh, you get stuff from them if you want. I see. That's interesting.
Yeah, you can actually take, like, if you can take a gift that is just, here's stuff. Like, you want to take Thaumaturge's trappings? Cool, you just start the game with all of this stuff.
Die Hard is pretty cool. Like, once you're injured, you take less damage.
Which is very, very useful.
Yeah. Not seeing much for... Oh. Could take extra career at D4. I want to fuck with that though. I would have to look back at careers. Oh, and these are what you would like, kinda. Okay. Improved ally, a Kimbo fighter. Great.
Pretty much, it kind of went with the idea of like, if we can put anything into it, we're going to make it a gift of some variety.
Yeah, I actually think that's quite a rather good system.
Yeah, in a good eye, in at its best, it's like, okay, cool. I get a lot of options. I can have a lot of things. At the worst part, it's like, okay, got to make sure that you sort through each of these and be like, is it in this section? Is it in another section?
Yeah, it's like we have been scrolling down this list for several minutes now and not gotten to the end. So there's just so many here that like finding. There's probably many that you want. Like, okay, aim on the draw. Requires sharpshooter. So I guess I must have sharpshooter. Where's that? Thanks for not telling me. What's up here? Oh, that's bad. Why would you do this? I guess it's all under sharpshooter, but still don't do that.
Yeah, it's sharpshooter is a thing. It's like, oh, hey, you have to take sharpshooter and then you can take all the things under.
Yeah.
Which is one of those, again, it's just like, at its best, it's like, hey, here's cool options. At its worst, it's like, okay, sort through all of these things and kind of interpret what we want to have happen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Is this what you're looking for?
Sure is. But okay, I picked my 3. I didn't put my points into anything yet. So let's say range combat 3, melee combat 2, observation 2, deceit 1, acrobatics 2, climbing 1, jumping 1, stealth 1, dodge 3, endurance 1. Probably too many points, right? 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 12, 14, 16, 17. Okay, you don't get enough points. I don't need jumping. I'm at 16. Don't need acrobatics at more than 1, I suppose. I already get a bonus. Melee combat 1. Yeah, okay, what I'm noticing really quickly here. 13 points isn't a lot. 6.
No, you are not.
7,
Weirdly, you are not competent when it comes to your skills. Like like 3 points at like you put 2 points in something, and that's really all you can like afford if you want to feel like you could do something.
Acrobatics 1, climbing 1, stealth 1, dodge 3, endurance 1, range combat 3, melee combat 2, observation 1 is what I picked. Oh, yeah, that's the character. Like, that's the complete fucking character. I don't have a name or motto yet, but honestly, who cares? And equipment is it's quick.
It's never been complicated to make a character in Ironclaw, and I do respect that.
Yeah. And
usually just sorting through options.
As it turns out, that's a good thing, because your character might die very, very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what's this increased speed do? Is that, if we scroll over that, it's probably just increases my speed die by a step, right?
Yes, if it's like increased speed +1, you bump your speed die up.
Oh, so we would have a speed of D10. D8 plus 1.
So you would have a speed die of D10, and then you'd have to recalculate all your speed variables because it's based off your speed.
Well, I never calculated them in the slot, so I win again.
Yeah, don't worry about it too much. But yeah, no, it's like, oh, like that's pretty easy to understand. That's pretty easy to get, across the idea from point A to point B. It's like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
And then you get shot by a gun, and then you fall over, and then you explode.
I know this is very similar to the other. Like, these are not actually not that different, all things considered. And probably in the weeds, but the basic systems seem very similar. God, look at this Scottish wolf. This gun doesn't have a trigger.
Yeah, some of the guns look a little odd if you look too deeply at them. I think it was made by people who didn't know what a gun was, like one of those old-fashioned guns. So they're like, this looks vaguely correct.
Damn Europeans. Oh no, the Scaly is dead.
Yeah, a competent melee character can, like, I'm just gonna leap from my horse, rip and like kill like 3 people, and then like, yeah, let's do it. Screw it. I'm like, oh, you're terrifying.
It could
Please,
be
please go away.
Yeah, it could be a matchlock. Matchlock pistols are, well, okay, they existed, I guess. This
I
game
wouldn't
is
want to
very,
use one.
yeah, this game is kind of inconsistent. Oh god, the art style. I mean, I like this, but look, it's so different. It's inconsistent about how the guns exactly what they are and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's inconsistent would be a good way to describe Ironclaw 2nd Edition in some aspects.
Why
Oh,
is
yeah,
every
that's for
picture
sure.
of these dinos kind of sus? Because she has a big like paddle to hit them in the ass with. Why is this all that? Also, it looks like she has this guy on a leash. I know it's just a dino on a leash, but look, it's so perfect. The line goes so perfect. He's collecting taxes. Why are they look like they're enjoying it. I'm sorry. See more pictures of these creatures. Sussy.
I mean, come on, you don't want to herd your dinosaurs? Come on. What
Sorry.
are you?
Looks like they're like to get their ass spanked, is what I'm saying. Which is not.
We're just innocently herding the
Spanked.
dinos. Nothing sus going on here.
Oh no. Oh
yeah, they
no.
do reuse art.
More importantly, oh no, look at this.
Ah, yes, the death rolls. So the thing that's really screwed up about how like actual damage works in 2nd Edition is that if you say you have taken 3 points of damage, congratulations, you're hurt, afraid, and injured. You're scared out of your freaking mind and you're bleeding to death probably.
And you get
take 4 points of damage. You're dying.
And you're helpless and need first aid. And then you die for one more, and then you mega die off screen.
Anytime you get hit, anytime you even like get hit and take no damage, you get reeling, which takes an action for you to do that, but they get a bonus to hit you more.
Oh yeah, the reeling thing is really bad. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if you do get like 1 point of damage, if they hit you for 1 point of damage again, you don't go up to 2 damage. Oh no, you go up to 3 because +1 on all future damage. Like you can take maybe 2 hits in this game. 2 hits at best. And
yeah, because
you are like
you also get +1 on future damage if you like take damage once. So it's super bad immediately. And then at 2 damage, you already can't attack because you're too afraid. Wow.
But this does lead to a weird situation. This is the really weird situation. If the enemies also obey these rules. So, there's 3 of us and 3 of them. Do we want to fight fair, or are we going to be assholes about it?
Yeah, you gang up. Of course, you gang up.
Yeah, first rule of a fight is play dirty. The more, and it's always interesting. I've noticed it with a bunch of different games. The more lethal a game is, the more it's like, do not fight fair. Fight like a dirty scumbag.
That's something. I talked about GURPS earlier today. And about the guy with 16 passive defense. That guy really existed. There was a friend of mine made that guy. But in that campaign, the other characters were made without mega exploiting. So we had to also fight super dirty in that. Because it was a futuristic game. So you had like big automatic guns, which would just shred you completely to pieces. So, yeah. Always ambush. Never play fair. Put grenades around every corner into every fucking thing you can.
Yeah, and it is amazing how just a little everything kind of changes when lethality becomes a big thing. Because in this game, hey, that guy's approaching us with a weapon. cool, we got a crossbow on him. Shoot him with a crossbow.
Yeah.
He takes 2 points of damage. He's like, he's like, oh god, I'm bleeding to death. Then you rush him. He can't attack you that turn. Rush him and stab him to death. And that's even like the scarier thing. Like the scariest thing when it comes to slaying damage. Like all guns have slay. Because what happens is, let's say for example, I roll my soak and I got like 6 soak. That's my roll, and you roll an 8-7, like an 8-7 and a 4. You would have got 2 success. You would have got an extra success on me.
Yeah.
Effectively. Normally you do +1 damage. Just +1. You don't do that much damage, but again, 2 damage puts you at that state.
Yeah.
Slaying weapons does +2 damage per success. So your damage might be, who knows, 2 plus, 2. So you, with 2 over successes, could potentially do 6 damage outright.
Oh
Oof.
no. Yeah.
But imagine, but you have to think about it. You're a guy, you're a guy, you're running into combat, haha, we can win. And someone shoots you with a musket.
Yeah. No, it's
In your
realistic.
chest.
Of course it's
You're just gone.
of course,
Your friends are like, shit, run.
like it's 100% realistic, but it's also so anti-conducive to roleplay. Like, okay,
It's so-
no, not true,
yeah.
but to the roleplay people kind of want to do usually, where it's like, yeah, we're heroic guys, we're gonna fight fair, and we're gonna be the heroes. No, you ain't.
Oh, the thing is, you could totally be like, we're gonna fight valiantly and be heroic. You're just going to have Steve. Steve is going to be the little weasel man behind you with a gun. Be like, oh man, that guy looks like he's about to pull out something. Bang! Like, okay, now we can fight honorably. His friends are terrified.
I just imagine the paladin, the oblivious paladin who just never realized that Steve is
Yes.
sniping enemies.
Yes. It never
Hello,
realizes
everyone, it's
the
me.
rogue's doing things.
Yeah, that would be a funny character thing. God. But
Just
yeah,
makes a heroic speech and one guy just blows up.
yeah, and that's ultimately, I think, why I like this system is not bad, but I think their damage thing, they're just too committed to making it like be realistic.
See, this is an interesting note because I've read Urban Jungle, and I do encourage people to read Urban Jungle. Because Urban Jungle takes this a step further. You get hit with an attack, you're going to go down. Unless you perform a soak. So it's like, hey, I would take 2 damage. I'm going to go down no matter what. However, I take a soak, so let's say I become afraid, and that reduces the damage I would take by 2 or 3. But I'm now afraid because I would take, I was going to take that damage, or I'm wounded now, or something like that. It's an interesting way of doing combat because every single attack, if that is successful, is effectively a lethal attack unless you have a way to get rid of it.
Yeah, that's cool because that's more narrative outcomes.
Yep, way more narrative.
Because
Yeah, it's
please go.
it's kind of the natural progression there, and that's why I think like if there is ever going to be an Ironclaw 3rd edition, which there might be, there might not be, who knows?
Who knows?
Most likely it's going to use the Urban Jungle system version of the Cardinal system. That's what the actual full system is called. Just because Urban Jungle did really well, and it was like, okay, let's reduce things down even further. Let's streamline things as fast and as easy as possible. Is that the right call? I don't know, but it's a reoccurring trend.
Like, there's something to be said for realism in games, of course, because like if you're used to, oh, I'm a level 10 fighter in D&D. Oh, you hit me for 20 damage. That's funny. You can hit me 7 more times before it even matters. Like, yeah, great. That's not an interesting combat system.
No, it's not.
But then also this, where it's like, oh, what you mean you breathe on me too hard? I might take 1 damage and then I'm basically useless. It's not great either. So having a system where it makes narrative outcomes happen, like I am afraid, I am whatever, like pinned under rubble, I don't know what, from the attack. That's cool because Yeah, that's the problem, but it's narrative, and it's something you can use to like inform your play way more than this, because in this it's like, well, I don't want to get into a fight at all, and in D&D it's like a fight, yeah, cool, awesome. I have full hit points. I can go in and it doesn't even matter what happens. At least like for the first few turns, and then maybe we're going down to the wire, and then it's the only time it's actually scary and interesting what happens. Like, I remember in our last time playing D&D almost, Drake, where we were at the table with with your boss enemy, and then they suddenly attacked us, and it was the same thing of, well, they summon these enemies, and then those enemies went first, and my character was flat-footed and basically one hit killed.
Yeah. Your character went down to 0 HP
Yeah.
instantly
Yeah.
from one hit.
Yeah, because I couldn't do anything to defend myself, and then
Yeah.
I was healed because it's D&D combat, right? Because I was just down and you just get healed. That was a cool moment because it felt one of the rare times when a D&D combat actually turns lethal instantly. It made the whole fight feel so much more hardcore because of that.
I should write a whole book on how to make 5e feel hardcore without like making it stupid, because the entire campaign that I ran from start to finish, that was exactly what you and everybody else was saying, was like the first fight was against 12 small demons.
Yeah.
Like, who does that for their level 1 fight? Nobody.
You also gave us,
but it made it work.
You also gave us like tools and stuff to survive for changing the base game. And yeah, like I would still rather play this unchanged than play more D&D for sure. Like, just because, yeah, okay, I made a character in 15 minutes. This might not have been the most deep character ever. And if I were to read every single trait in it, I could no doubt make a way better character. But at least each character is going to be different.
Yeah, like this is a system where that just happens. Everybody's going to be different.
Even just taking a different species just kind of does change a nature of a character. Not only just because of the gifts, but because your species die is going to change, and then that's going to get put into different places, and that's going to be put into different places. And
Exactly. Because in this, like in essentially, if you change your species, that's 1/3 of your character that's different. If you change your job, that's also 1/3 of your character is different. Then if you change your skills, that's 1/3 of your character being different. So yeah, there isn't there is probably a best way in quotation marks to build like whatever fighter you want to play. But no one's gonna
play Mavra.
Yeah, you can play Mavra. Sure,
counterpoint, play Mavra, and you're gonna have a better time probably than everyone.
Yeah.
How? Why do I end up hitting for 8 billion damage every time I do anything? I wonder why. But
it's unfortunate that the scan sucks here, but okay.
I think Ironclaw 2 does a better job than Ironclaw 1 of just getting you into things and explaining itself a lot easier. Also, I realize Mavra's 19.
Okay.
It gives you a better time of going from point A to point B. We want to get to point B. We want to hop into the game. We want to have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say that Ironclaw First Edition does have a lot more of that nuance, I guess you would call it. That you do kind of like the idea of like, yeah, if you take too much damage, you get knocked out. You're kind of that staggering, like, I'm still awake, I'm bleeding, but I'm still alive, I'm still fighting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you lose kind of like the evadism, the kind of like going all natural. You kind of lose that. But it's like compromises, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's just like, though I do feel like you could tear apart First Edition easier if you want to make something for First Edition. It feels easier.
First Edition feels easier to break. Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and add and do things with. The second edition has a lot of stuff in it that feels like if you make like one wrong move, like the entire game just breaks into 1,000 pieces. You're like,
Yeah.
It's just my
oh
little,
god.
My Little Pony. What the fuck?
Yeah, one of my favorite art pieces in the book.
They do have hands though, so it's not 1-to-1. God.
Just how uncanny it looks.
That's the next piece, yeah. This is like
Oh.
trying
Yeah,
for
oh,
medieval
there it is.
art.
There's Horse Christ.
Jesus Christ. Oh no, from the fucking wheel, he's broken.
Yes,
Oh,
Horse
no.
Christ dies upon the wheel, and that is literally. And again, it's one of those things where you read the lore, being like, society is currently falling apart. The new wave is coming. There's a bulging middle class currently. Then that's where you're supposed to be, really. Like as a bunch of adventurers, you're like this weird new middle class of like, yeah, you have weapons and you can afford things and you're going on cool adventures. Be like, yeah, there's religious turmoil. Yeah, there's like the old kings and everyone kind of believes that they should be king and all that. And then you see that it's just like one of these goofy art pieces. You're like, oh.
Yeah, like this.
And then you see that, you're like, that doesn't seem quite right. Like,
I'm sorry,
that
but
looks like it's out of Robin Hood.
this isn't a gun. What are you doing?
The gun looks like a banana. What the hell?
It's a boomerang with like a counterweight on it.
Well, you don't have a boomerang gun? What are you, lame?
It reloads when you throw it, yeah.
But yeah,
Man.
if you were to show me this image here, I'm like, oh, it's like going to be like a Robin Hood game.
Yeah.
And then they talk about, there's blood wars and blood feuds inside.
Did you see this picture? Wow.
Oh my god, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
because the wolves don't believe in God, so they keep trying to tear down religious symbols.
The Scottish wolves are enslaving the monkeys.
You're like, what the fuck? You're like,
What? I look at this picture and I'm like, are you attempting to do a social commentary? And they're actually not.
Like I
No.
love that someone commissioned this. So someone had to tell the artist, well, we would like you to draw this monkey smashing a cross to pieces while a Scottish wolf with a gun menaces over him.
yeah, it's one of those things. Like if you read the lore, I'm like, yeah, this makes a huge sense. Like this is just to tell, like even that little section right down there. That is an entire section on just like here's religious beliefs and currently the problem going in there, and it's conversions, and it's like there's a monkey grows with a comically oversized pickaxe, like Scottish wolf with a rifle.
It's amazing. Oh
your
god.
brain just melts a little bit looking at it.
And then we have classic adventuring. This gun
Oh,
actually has
yeah.
a trigger. Good job. And then we have the pigs. Pig Christ. I guess maybe just the princess. Who knows?
Oh, no. Go back up slightly.
Hmm.
This is intended to be the pig conquistadors, and I think that's a capybara from the New World.
Oh god, could be.
It could be.
The pigs, like they're still on like that conquest bin, but they have like a completely different god they worship sometimes.
Yeah.
Like they're like, yeah, we're just going to fight. We just want to conquer everything because we can win, and we know. It's like, can you win? Nah, I'd win.
When you have seen a non-zero amount of these artists just on Furfinity, like
I would say like, yeah. Then you see this, and it's like, oh, hi, Crystal. How are you? It's been a while.
yeah.
They were all in on the Celtic Wolves. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Like, it makes me think that somebody played a Fianna in Werewolf the Apocalypse and was just like, I want my whole game designed around that.
Here she is again.
Fingering the door.
This is so inconsistent with the
Oh my
art.
god! Like, and then like that gives me like New Orleans vibes a bit,
Oh
or
god,
New York
I just
vibes.
realized that the poor donkey is having to pull the cart.
Yeah, because donkeys are literally like second-class citizens.
No. No.
And I like how there's a foreign bird man there, like how
Yeah.
Mortimer is there.
Ooh, this is better.
Nice.
Yeah, it's again, poor conquistadors, but yeah, it's extremely inconsistent in some areas. But if you read the lore, it's like, oh wow, this is a really fascinating setting.
There's a lot more lore in this, I say that. They really put like last time the lore was maybe 20 pages. This
Oh, yeah, no,
has
this
been
is-
like 100 pages of lore so far.
Oh yeah, no, this is because what they did was there was 4 expansion books for 1E, and each of the expansion books were named after one of the houses.
Hmm.
And they were all
Oh.
effectively lore books for the houses and their specific region. So they just put a lot of that information in here by default.
Makes sense.
That's a smart move. Yeah.
But admittedly, they also added in a bunch of
Oh,
other
they put it back.
random ass things.
Oh no, it's bad. It's worse again because the burp isn't there anymore.
It's colored now, and like I don't know if that makes it worse or better that they're bright green dinosaur cows. Like no burping this time, thankfully, but
Oh no, it's.
that wolf looks like that little dog. That dog man looks like he's done. Like I'm like
Yeah.
I don't want these animals anymore.
This isn't a plow; it's a cloaca adjuster.
Yeah, I'm pulling out the. So you can't see this, but I'm having a measuring tape out.
Exactly.
I can
Like-
confirm that the backside of the thing, like this, it's not aligned with this. There's a bend here, or this is unrelated. This is going up the bum of this one. And I think the dog might have noticed that he's pushed it in the wrong place.
Yeah, why do you think he's looking away? He's like, I messed up. This is not being good.
And
I
this one's
just-
like, can I be next? Like,
Please.
oh god,
I just realized that the dog looks like he's shaggy as a furry.
no, no, you're right. Mm.
I became Scoob.
It ain't good, Scoob. Would the mystery machine? Would the Scooby gang? Would Scooby just be a person, like a real
Yes,
human
just a
being?
person. Like that's the twist. Scooby is a human.
The only human.
Yes.
Well, they're also apparently stinky. Okay, great. I love that for them.
Yeah,
Thank you.
but old.
Oh my god, giant
Yeah.
geckos.
Also, if you scroll up a little bit, just to give you this like the sheer difference in the freaking art. The if you go up to the horse section where you were up a little bit more.
What's the horse? That was the horse
Right here,
section.
right here. The god damn it, let me.
I think
I'm
you're
looking at the stream. I'm looking at the
I
stream.
just realized you probably were.
I'm like, wait a second. Let me find it again. It's page 264 of the book
Okay.
with the genetic
Oh, yeah.
Palfrey 277
Oh,
of the PDF.
yeah.
It's very bizarre when you look at this because these are the exact same image. These are the exact same thing. They are two
Okay.
very different styles.
I'll take your word for it, I guess.
Yes, they're supposed to be effectively the same thing, but they look very different.
Wow,
Oh,
what
no.
the? One looks like Dark Sun art, the other one looks like Forgotten Realms art. What's going on here?
The writing chameleons are pretty good, though.
I like those a lot.
You know,
I-
go around seas, baby. We love them.
I like
I
that
want-
this.
I
I,
want
like
several
that
of
this
them.
guy just wants to leave. And he's.
There's so much expressiveness in the faces of
Yeah.
everybody in this book.
That feel when
Uh,
barred.
Yes.
Oh, these are from first, but they colored them
Mm.
slightly. Yeah. Yeah, I can't fault this game. Alright, I guess at this point we might as well do the final few things. What's yours? Let's go for overall both editions. I don't care what we
Yeah,
talk about.
overall's good.
What's your favorite thing here?
Favorite thing of
Of
which
just everything. Then you just everything we mentioned.
I would think probably out of first edition, I would say the weird modularity of everything. And it's like, yeah, I like that nuance. Out of second edition, I'm actually a big fan of the system. That's a weird thing to say. I do like the Cardinal system just because it's a nice, easy system, but you can do a lot with it at the same time.
Yeah.
And the fact that they can make an extremely lethal system, but also put in all these different things. I'm like, yeah, this works somehow. Why do you work? You shouldn't work, but you do. Nani? But yeah, I like all the options, all the stuff that can happen.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good times.
That's what I'm gonna say, because I like about the system specifically. There's like the way you like get extra dice. Feels like there's always a way to like to put yourself forward a bit more and actually like, oh, do I raise my jaw because that's like goes into these 4 skills, or do I raise a skill because that goes into the one skill I actually want? But what do I do? It feels there's a good decision space in this, if you get what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Like you aren't just gonna be like, oh, I guess it's time to pick a great weapon master because I am a barbarian.
Yeah. So cookie cutter. My favorite thing is the fact that your career and your species are also attributes. I love that so much. That's such a great idea, because my biggest criticism of like Pathfinder 2nd edition, D&D 5th edition, a bunch of other stuff is that like all the racials are going away basically over time until there's nothing. Sure, you pick ancestral feats or whatever, but like it's not the same. And then the same thing for like classes. Like the one D&D ranger, like why would you pick that over something else? Like it's so samey.
Yeah.
But then in this case, no, I'm a D8 ranger, so I get a bonus D8 to these 9 things. Like that's so better. That's so much better. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's astounding what just like a single like, hey, yeah, I'm a D8 Catman versus a D6 Catman, but I'm a D8 mercenary versus a D6 mercenary. And it's like you kind of sit there for a second, like you kind of get an idea automatically. You're like, oh yeah, hey, I'm more feline, or I'm doing more cat things, or I'm doing more like I embody this more than another thing. I'm like, that's actually a nice idea. That is it's a cool thing. That makes every character feel a little bit more unique than you would think. And
yes,
just because I'll post this in the here we go. This is one thing I've always remembered about good old fashioned Ironclaw is that people on the TG really like the game.
No.
However, they didn't like playing the furry part, so they instead decided to make their own. Technically, there's Ironclaw Furless.
There's Minotaurs. They have fur.
Yep, it's technically for first edition, though I believe there is second edition one.
Oh, that's fitting.
But yeah, no, it's the adaptability of the system is a lot more than you would think.
Yeah,
and it's like I hope more people would look at Ironclaw, because Ironclaw is actually a genuinely interesting system, held back by the fact that Mavra is on the cover and looks ridiculous.
Yes. Is that going to be your least favorite thing, Anon?
Probably like just the raw inconsistency.
Yeah, I get
like
you.
Sometimes even like the artwork, sometimes the tone, sometimes the way things are presented. You look at it and you're like, okay, this is going to be Robin Hood. And then you take 3 damage and you're bleeding to death on the ground. You're like, this seems like a bad place for me to be.
Yeah.
But if you were playing a Robin Hood game, let's say like we're playing a Robin Hood, Disney's Robin Hood game.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think's going to happen when you take 3 damage in that game? Just in your mind.
Like I'm out of the combat because I have like the big cloud of like stars over my head.
Exactly. You look at like, oh, it's a little cloud of stars over my head, or I've been bonked on the head, or I'm unconscious for a couple minutes, or whatever. Not you're bleeding to death. Please get help. No, it's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah. And even just like the fact that like Furry Lena Inverse is on the cover, and you look at it, you're like, no, Furry Lena Inverse, go away, stop that, stop existing. But then there she is.
Yep.
There she
Posing, like-
is. I'm
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm gonna say my least favorite thing, already said by you. Like, yeah, a lethal system can be fine. Like Shadowrun is pretty lethal as well, depending what happens in it. But this is like way worse actually, and it's a bit. It gets to be a bit much. Like, I don't like the idea of well, you took 5 damage, like first edition, talking about first edition now. You took 5 damage, I guess. You are not unconscious. So next time you get hit, you will die, and if it's shit, then you die. You just get decapitated or disemboweled or something. I don't know. No thanks.
Yeah, there is that absurd lethality that it doesn't imply exists.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
it really doesn't.
At no point. Like, if it was that bad, those that art from second edition should have been a bunch of invalids, like missing limbs. Like, yeah.
Like, if the thing was like, if the cover of this game was like freaking Berserk, then I'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I'm going to lose a limb in this fight.
God, yeah, that would actually be more accurate. Yeah.
Mhm.
Jake, do you have a least favorite thing?
So, 20 pages of species, and we don't have beavers? You fucking kidding me?
Wait,
I was gonna meme on that.
in first edition they have beavers. I checked.
They do in first edition?
Yeah. Let me go to it.
Sorry, beaver losers, you don't get to be in second edition.
Sorry, Timberboard fans.
Badger, bat,
Get the
bear, boar. Wait, am I dumb?
No, there's no
I
beavers.
think they get folded in with another. It's like
Probably with rodents or something.
I saw them. Wait, I saw them.
Let me see. It's
Goats and rams, horses, mice, rats, monkeys,
actually
termites, otters, porcupine, rabbit, raccoons, rhinoceros, shrews. What the fuck am I? I must have imagined them. What the fuck?
Yeah, I imagined them too, and then I went and looked at the actual book and was like, "Where's the beavers?" You'd think they'd put those in there, but as great builders or something. But no, there's no beavers, and there's a couple others that are missing that like I had written down at one point, but I accidentally deleted it. It's just it does cover a lot of bases, but leaving out scalies, leaving out a couple other things. Yeah, I get you have expansion books, but you had time to put armadillos in both editions. Like
and that's where like things get weird. Where like some of the expansions. So I've pulled up a handful of the expansions. This is the Book of Corals, Maritime Adventures for Ironclaw. New species to play. Now, when you hear Book of Corals and new species, what are you thinking?
Mermaids? I know there are fairies, but I think still that. Dolphins or orcas.
Lizards,
parrots,
komodos,
Oh, Komodo.
orcas,
Oh, I see.
parrots, and thylacines. Thylacines?
What the fuck is that?
What the fuck is this thing? It's like, oh, the Tasmanian devil.
Oh.
Because
okay.
fun fact, the Book of Corals is not quite about fun pirate adventures. It's about colonialism.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Of course
Oh,
it is.
it's the Tasmanian tiger or Tasmanian wolf.
Yeah, there you go.
So, oh my god! So they picked something intentionally that is extinct. But
Yes.
oh my god!
Yeah, bunch of new careers. So Book of Horn and Ivory. New species: zebras,
Okay.
paladins,
I hope giraffes are in there.
secretary birds, pangolins. Yeah, you can be warlords, sportsters, new types of mercenaries.
Like, It would be highly easy to write these races yourself, of course, but that's also why I don't think that those inclusions are really that interesting. Because I can just be like, beaver, bite, prehensile tail,
it's
something about swimming, done.
I will say, like, every expansion does seem like they add new mechanics and new things to it.
Okay.
Like the Book of Corals is not just the Book of Coral, like just a bunch of those. It's like, hey, here's a bunch of new pirate colonies and new colonies and stuff, new adventures to experience, a bunch of new places to do stuff in, and it's only $40.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's normally $40, but it's on sale right now on DTRPG for $15. Jesus Christ. And it's an Electrum seller. So people clearly bought it.
Oh yeah.
Like, it looks like at least they always add something to it.
Mhm.
Even it's just like, hey, here's a bunch of new magic. Here's a bunch of like, here's an alchemy system. Here's a game. Here's how you add cannon. And I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool. Like, I do like the fact that they're adding stuff to the game.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you have anything else?
I like having my crunch in every new book, but like there's so many games that are just like, we're gonna add a lot of crunch that you never asked for and never ever wanted to begin with. But if you're doing like a sea game, oh yeah, by the way, here's a colony running system, here's a ship fighting system, here's a boarding thing, here's a bunch of deck plans, something.
Damn, neither of these is beaver.
Yeah,
sorry, man, beavers are it's over.
It's over.
But
it's
you
over.
can also, have no fear, everyone. On DTRPG, you may also buy for $10 the Dream Carver, an Ironclaw novel, alongside the other novels. Yes, apparently there are a bunch of novels for the setting, so
I believe it.
go get them.
Furries like to write.
And they also apparently have a monster book which lets you make equipment out of monsters.
Oh.
So finally, our furry Monster Hunter game we never knew we didn't want.
I'm sorry, but I was expecting to other things to happen with the monsters. But whatever floats your boat, I guess.
But yeah, it's like they're clearly still doing stuff for Ironclaw and Urban Jungle in turn. If Ironclaw seemed too complicated for you, Urban Jungle is pretty much just simple, is baby mode Ironclaw, even more so.
Yeah, like for real. If it wasn't so lethal, I would say that this is great. This is like, the system is good. If you're really rubbing up against the furry thing, just go to whatever website and get the stats for halflings or whatever. But who fucking cares? Like, just have fun with it. It's make believe for a reason.
It's one of those things where I think Ironclaw is a good system. It's a good game. Unfortunately, held back by the fact that it is Sanguine Games' inability to find a consistent artist and some of the little tone issues throughout the game. That
it's funny that they really tried. Like, the art here for all the races is
it's good,
like, very good. Like,
so
just
good.
Get the person who did this to do the rest of your art as well, because this is maybe two artists, probably one.
They apparently one
together.
of the bestiaries for the game, one of the other bestiaries, is entirely done by this artist, the guy doing this.
Yeah, cool, awesome,
and it looks way better. And I think it's a tone thing, and I think that if you accept the tone for what the game is putting down, otherwise known as very lethal, kind of dangerous. I don't know what you would call it. Would you call it dangerous or?
I guess.
But
yeah, Game of Thrones, but furries. Yeah, a little bit of that.
If you accept that, you're gonna have a good time. If you want to have Robin Hood cartoon adventures, hee hee hoo hoo, they have another game for you called Madcap, which is literally that.
You'd have to just, if this was like a somewhat less lethal, I would be down to play it. But I like the lethality is too much. Like the whole you got hit, like you even got no damage hit while you are reeling automatically. You can't even do anything against that. It's too much. Like
it's for what it's presenting. It's like, wait a second, like nah, like that's
like the issue for me. There's high lethality tends, like, it only affects players. Obviously, the DM doesn't care if an NPC dies, and you only get into the situation where, oh, let's hire these adventurers to go out and do a thing, and then like 10 sessions in, like the third generations of all your characters are playing like cargo cult about what even is the mission. What did any of our now dead characters even say about that? And no one knows anymore. Why are we even on this? Like people who died, hired people who died that hired us. What the fuck is happening?
Or you have the one guy who survives long enough where it's just like, I guess who's the protagonist? I guess it's you.
By default, the most cowardly runaway character ever, who survives because of it. Like, it's a bit too much. I don't mind character death, but it shouldn't be off of a stray bullet domes you and you die. This isn't like Pulp Fiction movie. This is a game where you're supposed to tell a longer story, arguably.
I will give it it's not like there aren't as many situations of instantaneous super death unless a gun gets involved.
Yeah, but
the second someone brings out a gun, you just run. Like, we're good. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to die.
I guess if I had to sum it up, it's like, would I like to be incapacitated off of one bad roll? The answer is no. I would like a bit more to be necessary. Like, I like, and even if you build towards like survivability, it can so easily happen that you just one time roll bad, and then since there is literally no safety net, since 2 or 3 damage is all it needs, it's too much.
If there was like a safety mechanic, if there was like a fate point thing from Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, or there was like a, hey, you have been shot with the gun that instantly kills you, burn away this, good boy point or something, and it like just whiffs past your head kind of thing, where it doesn't instantly kill you, but you're still like, oh shit.
Yep. But like, then that would have to be like a base mechanic, because otherwise...
Exactly, you would have, like, that would need to be integrated more elegantly, and I guess you could, with how the game is built, I guess you could kind of nail gun it to the game, but... Yeah. That's what I'm thinking...
Probably the easiest way would be to have like a few points of non-lethal damage you take first, and then you get into that range eventually.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking that if 3rd edition ever comes up, they'll use the urban jungle method, because that is effectively how that combat works.
Yeah, that immediately sounds really cool, and I would like.
Yeah, here's a bunch of ways to avoid damage, which is, you might be afraid, you might get injured, something might happen. That I'm like, that would, adding an ability to do a soak like that into this game wouldn't be difficult. And I'm like, maybe just a way to be like, yeah, you've taken lethal damage. However, you have burnt the piss your pants, soak. Therefore, you don't actually take lethal damage. On the other hand, you're scared shitless and something bad is going on. I'm like, maybe that's gonna be a good thing. Maybe that can be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Songwin hasn't made any news or any moves being like they're going to adapt the setting to the urban jungle way, but they've, weirdly enough, with that book, they have a sci-fantasy version, like a Sword and Planet version of the game. They have a full occult, like Call of Cthulhu variant of the game, and they have their noir variant. So I'm like, you've covered all your bases except your tent pole. I clearly see it. Just tell me you want to do it. Come on, Songwin, you know you want to.
God damn.
I'll even let you put in any art you want into it. Like,
Yeah.
Even though they got the Lackadaisy artist for Urban Jungle.
Just put the art you like the most on these tear out pages we put in the back.
Yeah, like you can put whatever you want there. Anything you want. You want to put your Yoda bites of Mavra art? Go for it. We won't stop you.
Oh, no.
But
They have even fewer skills for Urban Jungle, just 14.
yeah,
I like this. It's very tight.
streamlining would be that's how do we shrink this? How do we cut? How do we shave things off more and more and more? Which sometimes can be a good thing, sometimes might be a bad thing. Kind of depends on your way of looking at things. I think they could probably bulk it up a little bit more if you want to do like a really big thick book of it, but maybe you don't need to. But yeah, it's Ironclaw is good, just beautifully flawed in ways.
Yeah, ain't that always how it be?
But I would
With all
rather
of
have
these.
an interesting game than a really boring game.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, this has been a good read because this is the first time I've actually seen one of those, oh, you get several dice of different sizes games that I've liked. Because usually I don't like them. But in this, there's enough there and enough variation that I'm like, well, I see how this could be good, but I also see how that could be good. There isn't a clear best choice, which with other systems of that type, I always feel like the choice is just clear, like level this next, because that gives you the most
bang for your buck. Yeah, it's like even and even when you're like, well, that doesn't seem good for what my character is, you're like, yeah, I might want that later on. Please God, I need just a little bit more. Like,
yep, and it's just like, because do I raise my mercenary? Do I raise my animal? Do I raise my dex? Like, each of these does 7 different things that I might want. And which of these do I think are more useful? And so it's good. It's good. I'm again rather partial, but I guess also it is about time that we wrap this up, because I think that's enough talk about this. Notepad, thank you so much for being here. Do you want to plug anything? Say anything?
Feel free to come and say hi on the Notepad and on Twitch channel. Make sure to also like, comment, subscribe, and all those other fun things on the Notepad and on YouTube channel. Do all the other things I am legally obligated to say, because even though Susan may be dead, I will never. God, that is an ancient clip. That is a clip from eons ago, literal before time existed. Oh jeez. Oh God. But yes, hello, Kalu, ancient Notepad.
I mean, I would say you look about the same, like very well preserved. Yeah.
It's bad. I can tell by which avatar is being used. I'm like, oh God.
That's true. Isn't that the truth? Yeah. Do follow Notepad. Notepad is really good. I really like your like short and to the point ones, and sometimes I put a long one on and just do something else while that plays. Because you do like your quick reviews and then you do your deep dives.
We do have the Middle Earth case coming up soon, which
oh no,
I'm going to post that one soon. In 2 weeks from now, we are doing an oldies case on games from early '80s.
Oh, fuck yeah!
Yeah, we got some weird ones there, so I'm kind of excited.
Take a look at our favorite old game, Dallas.
I am Dallas's strongest warrior. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I have it in my notes to make the JRSD.
Oh yes.
We can make our very own Dallas role-playing game, everyone.
Yes.
We're going home.
We have said that, Ben. We found I did Dallas as a joke. Like, we did an easy game to do. This is like 50 pages. Let's go. And then we liked it so much.
That was one of our longest episodes. Yeah.
It's so fascinating to read, and you just when you realize SPI did it, it gets even better. There's multiple layers of memes with that game.
Again,
Yes.
like legitimately, I said this would be so good to use in a lab situation.
Yeah.
Like this
So
would
good.
legitimately better lab role playing system than mostly exists today. It's fucking great.
It's like when you realize the guy who wrote it like worked for the fucking Pentagon, by the way.
Yeah.
He was like he was like a defense guy for a
And
while. I mean, like it's like again, it's multiple layers of hilarity.
Yeah. And he wrote like 47 different books about like war fighting and strategy.
great.
And then he wrote
He
Dallas as well.
Yes.
Dallas, the television role playing game. There's a police game we're gonna be going over, and one called Arduin, which I've heard nothing about. 80s inspired a bunch of other games, but never gets talked about. I'm like, all right, let's. Oh god,
that sounds
help us
great.
all.
That's my jam.
Yeah.
Like the very start of this whole hobby is so fascinating.
Early to mid 80s is where you get some
Yeah.
really weird experimental games that you look
Yeah.
at and you're like, this isn't real, but you're like, no, this is.
Everything back then was experimental because no one knew what to do yet.
No one knew what was going on.
God. Fuck yeah. Drake, anything to plug on your end?
No.
Okay.
Just usual next week.
Yeah.
No, I don't have anything to plug.
We should figure out what we do on Monday before Monday this time.
That'd be good. And have a backup in case that thing falls through, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because that's just smart.
Just gonna.
Eventually, Neon Blood, the live play of Vampire the Masquerade set in Colorado, will return, but I will not say when until I'm definitely ready. So
Yeah, we're giving that one enough time to rest.
yeah, gotta do that. Okay, yep, that's it.
Yeah, I'll be back on Monday with something or other, probably with Waggles doing Discord Elysium more.
Yeah,
And then after that, whatever happens with the Monday group. And then I have my schedule out. Okay, cool. We're gonna rate out, and I wish you all a very nice and happy weekend. So
Yes, please, everyone, have a wonderful time. Have a good night, get a good evening, or whatever time it is for you. Because I know there are Europeans in the chat.
There's at least one Europe. No, one.
There
two,
could be Europeans here, he said.
Everywhere. Yes.
Two with two, not counting myself. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks again, everybody. And I'm just gonna press the button. So goodbye. See you soon.
Oh God, help us all.
In the goddamn walls. No. Oh God, imagine this. It's like French people that's on the radar, an alien. Aliens.
Yes.
Oh my
You just
God, they're Walloon.
Baguette in the background.
Goodbye, everyone.
See you.
Okay. The raid has gone.
Gucci.